You guys want to party? Hey, what's going on?
Yo.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Styles the Prophet. With me, like always, we got B-Show in the house.
What's up, everybody?
Fucking on the podcast ones and twos, we got Jonesy.
Yeah, what up?
Putting us in your living rooms. There's that nervous fucking cough. But tonight, actually, we got a fucking guest.
That's right.
I should get out my notes here, like shit. So this is from Capital Rap Battles, fucking Cranium Festival, Boogaloo Tribe.
That's right.
Shit, this guy's been putting the city on for a long time.
That's right.
Make some noise.
Welcome, Jugga.
Man,
Hey, man.
Thanks for
having
coming
me
out,
here,
man.
Thanks for coming.
Actually,
Pleasure.
here. Cheers.
yeah.
He brought us some beer. Drink.
Yeah,
Shout it out.
shouts to Broadhead, the homie
right.
Tim Duncan, been hooking up CRB and Cranium Festival with beer sponsorship. So, local brewery, good quality beer, made right here in the 613, man.
Yeah,
Support
that's
them.
sick. Local, man. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the can too. Orange as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
That's our color.
Yeah, that's
Which
right.
was totally a coincidence. It's my favorite color. They were like, we should make an orange. I was like, yeah,
There you
I'm
go.
down with that. Fuck yeah. But anyways, man, take me through the entry. So like Boogaloo Tribe, that's like in the 90s and shit, right?
Yeah, we started in the 90s, like midnight, like 90. I can't even remember what year,
Yeah.
to be honest. But I've been rapping since the very beginning of the 90s.
Yeah.
I was
Because,
a kid.
like, I was gonna say I was a kid.
Yeah, well, I was a kid when I started.
Yeah.
But like the first rap I wrote was in '89.
Yeah.
But I was like,
3.
I was like, yeah, I wasn't that little of a kid. I was like 11 or 12 when I
Yeah.
wrote
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Still young, too, for sure.
Yeah. So Boogaloo Tribe started out, I think it was like 93 or 94. I could be wrong though, because I'm trying, like, it's a long time ago.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
have,
no
have to
doubt.
Google it. No.
Yeah. I don't know if it's all like that
No, I
was
know,
before
yeah.
the era. Like a lot of the stuff we did, there's no trace of
Yeah,
it,
it
right?
didn't make it to the internet.
Yeah, if you wasn't there, you don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
Shit,
right.
yeah. So that was going down in the 90s. You guys had some like videos and shit on big stations and stuff.
Ooh, no,
No?
Boogaloo was very local, very underground.
Okay.
Like we definitely had recordings. So we had tape, CD, vinyl.
Tape.
So like, yeah, we did a tape. Man, I should have
I love
had
that.
copies of all this stuff, but we did a cassette single. We pressed 300, sold. Pressed another 300, it sold, and we 300. So 900 copies of our first cassette single.
Damn.
It's
Shit.
called Our Pride. It was produced by a homie from out in Calgary, Calgary actually. We recorded it here at Studio B. That used to be a dope spot to go. Before that, I was in another rap group called the Urban Prophets.
Oh
And
yeah.
before-
Okay.
yeah, and even
I'm
before
Styles the
that,
Prophet.
I was in a group before that was called I can't remember what we were called, but I'll tell you something because this story is really dope.
Okay,
There was a
okay.
studio called Sound of One Hand. It still exists in Ottawa. It's changed ownership.
Mm.
And there was a B studio, a little room like the size of your studio here, and it was operated by a man by the name of King Swift.
Okay.
He went by the name of King Swift back then, and he went on to become Dirty Swift, part of Midi Mafia, and he's credited with producing 21 Questions on 50's
No.
album. He has platinum plaques on his wall.
Damn.
He's produced other
Holy
big
shit.
hits, and he's from Ottawa.
Damn.
He's a I believe world DMC champion from like back in the 80s.
Okay.
DJ champion, crazy producer. He left Ottawa a long time ago, but he worked with a crew called Clarence Gruff, and he is one half of Midi Mafia.
Okay.
So
Clarence Gruff.
Clarence Gruff is like
I feel like I've heard this.
Clarence Gruff is like the most important old school rap group for Ottawa, like the history of hip hop here.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't even know about Dirty Swift,
Yeah.
which is crazy because the man has platinum plaques on his wall. He produced
Yeah,
21
Yeah.
Questions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
wow.
saying? So I think like whenever I get the opportunity to share that, I share that. And that was my
No
first
doubt.
time stepping into a recording studio. It was like
No
the
way.
little the side show
Yeah.
inside of
Yeah.
Sound of One Hand. So yeah, but after that, like Boogaloo Tribe was like the first real serious rap group I was part of where we were like really working on recordings, doing shows, hitting shows out of town, opening up for serious acts here in town. like we did the Boogie Down production Step Into a World when KRS-One was touring that record. We performed at a spot that used to be on Rito Street called RJ's Boom Boom Saloon. Was packed literally to the rafters. Like 2,000 and some people jumping up and down. Like, it was dope. We got to chill, smoked a spliff with Mad Lion, and just chilled with Boogie Down Productions.
Right.
It was dope, man. Like, those days, like there was a scene in Ottawa back then. A lot of people don't realize, but there was a scene back then for sure. Things were popping. Like, we could throw props to people like DJ Benjamin. He used to have a show on CHUO.
Okay.
He used to be with the Jeep Beats crew on CHUO FM.
Okay.
Like, we used to do shows like all ages spot out in Hull and like pack the joint, like just us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Headliner, and the spot was big. Like, I'm talking hundreds of people, like 400 people.
Damn.
We do our own show. So we were making money doing hip hop back then, like not on a regular basis. Like, you couldn't do that every week or whatever. But we were doing things like we brought Shaw Claire down here the first time he came to Ottawa. Was at our like after party and shit. So like we did a lot of things, man, back then. And we went to Toronto. We got our props. We did shows in like places like Cornwall and Kingston and all that. We didn't get too far. Back then, like there were some of us in the squad who couldn't really go to the States and stuff. But we had a record that was charting on college radio down in the States, and we had invitations to come do shows, but if the whole squad couldn't go, some of us couldn't go, so we couldn't. That was what it was back then. And we did, our album came out in the 2000s, right? Like our full length CD, the only full length project we dropped. I think it's 2003. It's called Tribalism.
Okay.
It did well. We pressed 1,000 copies, and like I got maybe a box of 50 left because I held on to it. But we did really well, man. Like the local scene supported us. We got a bit out of town to do shows, and it was just starting to pop off. And then things started to fall apart with the group. We were all moving to different places in life, and that's just what happened. I continued to make beats and perform as a soloist for a bit, but life was crazy too. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, a lot of crazy stuff. Like, I was a dad. I had twin girls. I was pretty young when I became a dad. I was still finishing school. And I was working at Swap Studios, which is like, I'd say it's like the seed that Swift sowed. You know what I'm saying? My mentor, Goggs, who was the chief engineer there, and he was also a producer. So he made beats, and he was the guy who like really, like, it was him who was responsible for people like the sound being crisp, for like DL Incognito to jump up out of Ottawa, for Belly and Masari to jump up out of Ottawa. So we were all recording there, and Goggs was like a mentor for people like me and E Large, who goes by the name of Mashup now. And I was working there just as an intern. I was like supporting him on beats, tracking recording sessions, and we'd sometimes be up all night mixing records. Belly was a teenager. I was just like a 20, 21-year-old. Belly would be falling asleep on the couch, staying there all night working on stuff. Belly had a crazy work ethic as a kid. He was meant to do this. He worked really hard at it. And I seen the work that he put in, like, perfecting his craft. Nothing but respect and love for that guy, man.
No doubt.
And having the opportunity to work with all those people in that era when Ottawa was just like creating like the second wave of its scene, it was really dope, man.
No doubt, that would have been an experience to be a part of for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just happy to be here to like tell these stories because I feel like part of the challenge with Ottawa, like continuity. A lot of these young bucks coming up, there's a lot of talented rappers and producers and DJs, but they don't know that there's actually a history here, and they're not the first ones to do it, and they're not the first ones to successfully do it. Like, if you don't know about Midi Mafia and Dirty Swift, you might think, man, there's been nobody here who's really done anything big until Belly, but it's not true. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Yeah.
To my homegirl Eternia, you know what I'm saying? Eternia, she's from Ottawa. A lot of people don't know that. She's nominated for a Juno. She's on tracks with a lot of the. She's toured Europe with a lot of the. She did a Women of Rap tour with like I think some of the biggest female rappers at the time were on that. She moved away from Ottawa a long time ago, but she's from here and she's a crazy dope MC. So like, shouts to Eternia, that's my homie. The stories could go on forever, but Boogaloo Tribe, man, we dropped our album called Tribalism. It was doing well. We were doing we were doing our own show. Like, we would get invited to open up for artists, but we could throw our own shows and put hundreds of people in the club. And aside from being the person who made 95% of the beats for the project, I co-mixed the project. I was also the promoter and the manager of the crew. So like, we would throw our own parties, make our own money, reinvest it, studio time, And we were doing well, man. You know, so props to Lopez the beatboxer, props to Mantes Ilmani, props to Greg the villain, and props to Versace. You know, like we've all kind of moved in different directions. And props to JB Critical, the spoken word aspect of Boogaloo Tribe. You know, like everybody did their thing, and we compiled a dope crew of people. Yeah. We were working with DJ Alive a lot back in those days. He was our live DJ.
And shout out DJ Alive.
Yeah.
That's my brother. You know, we still work on stuff together, obviously. You know, DJ Live is the DJ for CRB. He's DJs. You know, he was DJing Acranium. So I mean, you know, like things, those opportunities all just morphed into the next opportunities for me and some people. Yeah. Some of the guys are not really that much involved in hip hop anymore, but for me, it's like, yeah, my day job is in hip hop, but my life has pretty much been dedicated to hip hop music and hip hop culture in Ottawa. So you know, Boogaloo Tribe, man, it's always like usually the first thing I shout out when I talk about my involvement, because it's like, I'll tell you, man, like coming up in Ottawa, like I moved here in '89, and I moved here from the Ottawa Valley. I was from Toronto, and I moved to the Ottawa Valley, and then I moved here, and you know, the first way that I got integrated into the neighborhood was because I was in hip hop. So I gravitated and made friends with the kids who were into hip hop.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we'd start forming our first rap groups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a light puff off of that.
Yeah.
And just, you know, as life progressed, right? From like age like 15, 16, people started getting involved in like gangs and stuff like that. A lot of people around me, you know, I always had something to as a focal that, you know, some kids like are into sports and some kids are into whatever. Me, it was hip hop, you know, like crazy, like learning how to DJ, being that DJ in the neighborhood basement parties or the rec room parties, and then, you know, getting into production eventually. Of course, rhyming was the first thing I started doing.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I've seen a lot of people go through life, man, without a focal point, without something to guide them, without something to keep them rooted. And for me, it was hip hop, you know?
Yeah, I feel this. Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, having hip hop is a way, I don't know, it's just an outlet. For me, like, I just, like you were saying, like, writing, like, coming into writing as a young kid, like, it was just a way to, like, you know, like I say, it was just an outlet. And I'm glad I had that as an outlet. So, yeah, like, man. I don't know why I went on to that.
No, it's a good thing to say, right? Because, like even writing, you know, it's a way to kind of get it out, right? It's a venting or just like, you know, expressing yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
And then performing or like ciphering, even in the neighborhood at the park, where there's a way to connect with people.
Right. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And then like furthermore, like, you know, when you get to the stage of like leaving your neighborhood and going to events or whatever, it's a way to convene with people with like minds and like people who probably come from similar circumstances as you in a lot of cases, and who are also finding a way to deal with those circumstances, because life isn't always easy, no matter what walk of life you come from.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everyone's got their challenges. We all have our struggles, right?
Yeah.
So having, you know, and everybody has a different thing. Hip hop isn't going to be the thing that everybody latches on to get them through and to get around them. But it's definitely something that appeals to a big enough segment of the people for me to say that I know that, you know, my involvement in hip hop and creating platforms for youth and adults to be involved in hip hop, to express themselves, has had a positive impact on the lives of people, and therefore I'm a community builder in this city. I've been a consistent community builder for over 25 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so respect, man. Yeah, 100%.
My way of giving back, you know, that's what got me through.
And at the same time too, like you say, like when you see people that don't have something like that they're like focusing on or whatever, that even kind of goes into the idle hands, the devil's plates, or whatever, right? Because like those kids, like you said, there's kids that are into fucking sports and shit, right? And then like music and fucking whatever and video games or whatever, right? Yeah. But when you don't have that thing, that's when you get into fucking gangs and all this shit, right? And end up in bad shit. But and so either way, like it almost, I guess what I'm saying is, you were saying it's good to have that thing, and that's why too, right? Because then you're like, oh, what do I get into? Oh, I'm selling drugs and carrying a gun and like, or whatever, right? Not that it
must
always
be a big difference from like back in the day when, so like hip hop in like the mid 90s to like early 2000s in Ottawa, like especially when like, so at that time social media wasn't even a thing really, and like you know, internet was at its like infancy, really.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think. But yeah, the difference of like, so back then, like artists that were in the city were having a hard time seeing other people that were also into the same thing, you know, and felt like they might be the only ones, you know, trying to make it in music or doing whatever, you know what I mean? But now, like, it's like with social media and just the amount of people that you can also see in the city trying to do the same, you know, goal or reach the same goal. It sort of helps build that community and say, oh, like I see other people in this too. Like we all sort of reach out to each other.
Because then you see the like the reward. Or not even reward, but you see like the success of other people. Because you're like, oh, like that guy's doing it. And look at his following. Or not even following, but like look at like all his fans or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh, well, like I can do it too. So then it keeps you doing it. But whereas like even too, whenever you're saying that too, I'm thinking like I grew up in a small town, right? So I'm like, I only know like 2 or 3 kids who skateboard, and they like 2 of them live in my house. You know what I mean?
No, but that's the thing though.
One of
like,
them's the neighbor.
Like the same thing though. Like coming up in a small town like Arnprior and fucking trying to tell people that you write rap music. You know, you don't get looked at too seriously.
Well, that's another thing too. Yeah, like
for sure.
I used to work on my uncle's farm and shit too, right? So it's just like, hey, like been listening to this music lately. You know what I mean? Or like. I see what you mean. Like,
not going to really relate.
Yeah.
You
don't want to now, like, so out. At this age now, like, so like again, like when I was a teenager and like I didn't see anybody really. Well, I wasn't in the city, but like you know, like I say, coming in a small town, I didn't see anybody else really doing the music thing that way. And then came to the city, and now like doing this, especially, I've met so many. Just like ridiculous amounts of people that are also on the same
and even I guess also
wavelength.
too like
because you surrounded yourself with other people that are
I guess kind of also how we're tying that all together too is the like how if we had that social media or whatever to see that like oh like there's this many other people like doing it too, you know what I mean, like
for sure. Really quick, we got a few shout outs here. Well, Goon, I already see we replied to Goon, but Whitey and Papa Quest.
Sure.
He actually, it was directed at you. Big ups, Pat.
Oh, the homie Quest. Yeah, what's up, Quest? It's another OG, man.
Yeah, man, we had him on here a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I've seen some snippets of that one, man.
Yeah, no respect for him, man.
Fucking he's doing big things too, man.
Quest has been putting in like loads of work.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Man.
Dude's a huge contributor, huge force pushing the hip hop scene in Ottawa. Got no man, like massive force.
I've been listening to. They have a Dreamland playlist on Spotify, and I've just been bumping that over.
Yeah, the whole movement is super tight, man. They got a great team of people put together. Quest is, you know, he's at the core of it.
Yeah,
you know, Quest. From KB the Boss.
Yeah.
You know?
Shout out KB the Boss. Yeah, he's coming through.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know, his core artists, like the really, like, everybody he messes with is good, don't get me wrong.
For sure.
Everybody on Dreamland, like, I've never heard something come out of Dreamland that wasn't, like, dope, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But, like, some of the, like, the core artists that he's working with, like, the most developed ones, like, they're really well-developed artists. Like,
for sure.
They're ready for, like, you know, a lot of success.
Absolutely.
So it's coming, you know? So shouts to the whole Dreamland squad, man, for putting in all that work. I can see a lot of good things in your future, you know what I mean?
So, man, 100%.
Having Quest at the helm of that, having Quest as, you know, leader of that, man, it's a solid footing.
I was saying earlier, like, I see in Ottawa right now that I was saying basically that I feel like Ottawa's going to be like there's going to be so many good artists come from Ottawa in the next few years that everyone's going to be like, oh, like, who's coming next from Ottawa? Or, like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, man.
And I said, I'm like, maybe not worldwide, but just say in Canada, people will be looking towards Ottawa just because I feel like we have a lot of those artists that are ready to pop off. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And they're only getting better and making their way. So, yeah, I just feel like Ottawa's got a lot. And at the same time, too, I say that, but, like, I haven't been to the other cities, and, like, I haven't, you know what I mean? So I'm probably talking out of turn. But at the same time, I just feel like we do have a lot. We have a lot of good artists that are coming up.
Absolutely.
Now, Ottawa's got a ridiculous pool of talent. A lot of people with great work ethics. But it's crazy, like when you do go around and you see like all the different scenes, like you know, Dynamic and I, we did go around Canada. We saw like a lot of the different cities when we did the Hold It Down DVD, and I've been around Canada for some other stuff too. So when you take a look, like there's a lot of even cities that are smaller than Ottawa, but they do have a lot of artists putting out material.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But right now, Ottawa is definitely on a level where there's a huge amount. Like, yeah, it's punching at definitely at a higher weight class than it was before, as far as the city, as far as just like the quantity of good quality material.
That's
that it puts
exactly
out,
it.
you know?
Yeah.
It's got quantity and quality. Damn, you know, it's like a double threat.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
Double
good.
feature.
It's a huge step in the development, man, for like just having the city. But that's the thing, when you have people who, you know, have been consistently putting work, people like Quest who are producing music.
Oh yeah.
He can like put out a lot of good quality music, you know, in
Yeah.
a shorter period of time, just because he's honed his chops. You know?
Yeah.
He's very professional at what he does, man.
No
Oh,
doubt.
for sure.
You know?
Yeah, he seems very
Yeah,
like he's about it. You know what I mean?
Lives
Like
and
he's very
breathes it.
serious. Yeah. I mean, like I've seen him. You know, he laughs and stuff, and he's a funny guy or whatever, right? But I can tell he's very serious. Like I'll be talking to him, and he's thinking about the next thing. And that's what it takes. Like, and that's the thing too, is I really see it in him too. Like that kind of shit is that drive, or that, like, you know, it's almost like he knows he's going there, like, you know. But no, and he's got
Well,
he's got a lot of talented artists with him too, and I think that they're a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Well, when you got a squad, man.
Yeah.
yep. No, it's good because there's a lot of good talent there, and then, you know, you see like what's the model for developing the talent, right? Like what's the model for taking their talent and turning it into a product that is ready for market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
What do you
that's
think
what you're up against,
What
right?
the difference is
When-
between like are trying to create like actual music to put out for mainstream sort of consumption, or like the battle scene where like a lot of people come up sort of underground, like if you're
well, it's different, right? Like if you wanted to make a music product,
because like Corey Sharon, like you said, there's another one that's like from Ottawa that's like doing big things. It's
We got
like
a
came
big
up in the battle
support
scene,
system,
right?
too. Well, it's getting better. You know what I mean? Like even with the cranium thing,
Yeah.
it like just I feel like there's a lot more support from other people. You know what I mean? Like it's not just people out there trying to do shit by themselves. Like, oh well, like, you know what I mean? Like you got your hands in there, fucking. Well, even DJ Live and Thrilla, fucking and everybody's out.
Cap City,
you know what I mean? Like doing for everyone else. Like Dynamic's big in that too. Like so I feel like we're starting to have that scenario where we have those platforms for these people.
Yeah.
You know, or that
For
support
sure.
system for these good artists, right?
100%.
To
Like
see this guys together.
an ecosystem, like you know,
Yeah.
like we have the 4G audio podcast, you know, well, video too, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, so you got different media, right?
Yeah.
And it's an era where like if we actually put in the work, our work can translate into our success, but it's also going to take like support each other and collaborating, right?
Yeah,
because
true.
like, you know, your venture, what you guys are doing can support what I'm doing, what all these are doing, what other like promoters are doing. And you know, so you can support us, but we can also support you. You can come by here and visit.
Yeah.
We can help spread it further, you know, make sure that more people, you know, like if everybody kind of has that approach,
then we all benefit the same.
Yeah,
right?
it's literally you scratch my back and scratch yours. You know?
Totally.
Like,
Because
totally.
it's as simple as that.
the old formula was more based on mass media, right?
Yeah.
Like the big cats in the music game would have like ads or like they would get editorial interviews, whatever, articles printed, video interviews, audio, you know, live on airs with the major broadcasters or major print media, right?
Yeah.
And nowadays it's changed. It's all about like social media and online media.
Yeah.
So it's just like radio is really not that important, you know, instead of like radio programmers, now it's playlist programmers.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the rest is mostly algorithm.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Well,
crazy to
and
think
the
about, you
audience
know,
is
like it's
bigger
just like
too,
a
right?
whole
Yeah,
shift
man.
of like the way everything is done completely, and it's like being run essentially by algorithms, and there's people out there trying to figure out how to like suit their content to like trick these algorithms just to get at the top, you know.
Yeah,
so it's
man,
like
it's
they'll
a
try
whole
to
other ball game.
Yeah.
Like from
and then you can still buy ads in digital platforms now, right? Like sponsored YouTubes, Facebook content. You know, advertising is important, but like it's
Man.
different because there was a small group of people who had the access, especially in a place like Ottawa, who had the access to those major outlets, and they would just like have the appearance right away of being big,
Yeah.
and then like basically be like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
they come out big,
Yeah.
so then like people gravitate towards it
Yeah.
because there's really, like you said, you know, you can't connect with people or in another neighborhood or whatever because you think maybe you're the only one doing it. But when there's like a thing like, oh, there's a hip hop jam, and it's like in the Ottawa Citizen, which was some big deal those days.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like if the one television station and the two radio stations were all talking about it, and then it was like, boom, this is huge. So everybody would go. So now it's just like you got to hit up people on different media, but like anybody could enter social media. Like anybody
Yeah.
can create a YouTube channel or anybody can become an Instagrammer or whatever,
Yeah, man.
right? So like we all have access. So
Yeah,
it's like
and that's-
how badly
that's
do
the
we want to
beauty of
take
it.
advantage of that access is the
That's
question.
100%. Yeah.
You
Just
know?
utilize what
Yeah.
you got. That's what I
Yeah.
felt too. Like we're sitting here
Well,
like
that's
in
it,
a
man.
studio and we're like, fuck, well, might as well just
That's
start
the story of
creating
the 4G Audio
content.
podcast, man.
Start putting some shit out there.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
And here we are today.
Yeah, we used to sit around and be like, oh, but you know, like Adam 22 or Joe Rogan this, you know, and
Oh,
then,
you
why
just
not
gave-
fucking 4G that? You know what I mean? Like,
So
that's
I'm taking
Get
a
it.
step back a bit just because you're talking about the advertising and shit like that, and having ads and stuff like that. And you reminded me with the Adam 22. I couldn't remember, but Adam 22 from No Jumper podcast.
yeah.
Mhm.
So he went to Rolling Loud and he did this little vlog or whatever. And I guess before he went, they stopped at the store. And he's going into the store and he stops and he turns around and he's videotaping this wall. Just there's a big square that's painted white on it. And then just in black letters, I forget what it said, but then it was a quote and it said Roddy Rich in the bottom. And so it was like a fucking like billboard or
Yeah.
whatever for Roddy Rich, and it was just some of his lyrics with like some little like what do you call it, motivating quote or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
right? But yeah, it was Roddy
Inspirational
Rich, and
quote.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, as if that's crazy. But I would never, just because I never really like thought that it was like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, like put my new album video or whatever trailer on the start of this YouTube video.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Like, obviously you're gonna advertise and shit, but I didn't think like. Also, he's in LA, but still, I didn't think they're taking out billboards and just be like, yeah,
Yeah.
fuck
Crazy,
it, yeah.
man. Yeah, they do.
Still a
Spend
big
money to
business,
make money.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
There's some big
true.
players in it too who will drop, you know, like making an impression at a Rolling Loud stop. That's
Yeah.
like that's
Huge.
very valuable,
Oh,
right?
man.
Yeah, yeah.
Rolling
That
Loud
could,
is so
that could
important
actually
now.
that could make your whole career.
Yeah,
Realistically,
True.
it could be what ignites it, anyways.
it could. I've even found
Realistically.
artists like that's how I found Mir Fontaine for the
Yeah.
Cranium
Okay,
Festival.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just like going through Rolling Loud lineups and just like
No
Googling these
way.
artists. You know what I mean? Like
He
who
was on one.
Yeah, he was on
Yeah,
Rolling
shit,
Loud
yeah.
New
That's what
York,
he-
and
yeah.
was he on Florida too? I'm not sure. But
Shit. They say Florida's the biggest one.
No,
he
really?
was-
That's what they were saying.
Yeah.
Bigger than LA.
They were talking to the guy who made it.
Okay.
I forget his name.
they got a lot of stops, man.
Well, Florida. Yeah.
It's fucking huge. It's an amazing it's an amazing tour.
Oh fuck
You
yeah,
know?
man!
It's like a touring festival.
It's probably, would you just say, might be a stretch? I know Coachella is like 2 weekends, but is Coachella like the biggest festival, would you say?
probably has like cultural impact in
Yeah.
popular music at the moment, I guess.
Because would you say
Right now.
would you say they're similar? Rolling Loud and
They're more just like hip hop though.
yeah, oh yeah.
Coachella's like whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's like
They'll
an
hit up
arts
all the
festival
genres.
too. Yeah.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Rolling Loud's just hip hop then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay. I actually didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Bit of
Right.
R&B, but you know.
Yeah,
hip-hop.
well, I would say they're blending.
They had
trying
the
to
Cure
blend.
there, West
Yeah.
Coast Cure, fucking giving out weed.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Holy shit, man.
But yeah, man, it's crazy how there's big players with big influence or just big dollars to spend,
Yeah.
and they
Oh,
know
of
what to do
course.
with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it, man.
So I mean, like
Making the right moves.
when you want to look at developing, I guess, an ecosystem, you got to see like that's what moves are being made in that industry, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
are you going to compete with that? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, it's always good to have a unique a unique perspective, a unique offering. What do you do as an artist that's not the same as what somebody else is doing?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like the way you look or whatever, which works. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But a lot of the time, it's just like the content.
It's what,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
out there.
and we see like, okay, there's a lot of new content that comes out, and a lot of it sounds the same. But if we look
For
closely,
sure.
look at the artists who are actually like, step from all that noise and actually making a huge impression. And artists of like the current era, who do you think will be remembered or will go on to have a longer career? And be somebody who can keep dropping material.
Lil Dicky.
You know?
No, that's just the first person. I'm just joking.
But you,
But yeah,
I was gonna say, I would say he has a chance.
Yeah.
That video we put out, shit.
Right now, I think about like artists who are coming out, and it's like, okay, well, we saw like like J. Cole became one of those artists, right?
Yeah.
And then we saw like Kendrick Lamar became one of those artists. It's like maybe
They're like,
right now, maybe
they're
the
like
baby
real
is like one
fucking
of those artists.
Yeah.
Baby sounds like the baby, not like somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's just a huge part of it, right?
Yeah.
Like a distinct sound and it's polished, but it's like
Yeah.
it sounds like you. It doesn't sound like somebody else.
I feel like there's a lot of
Like young
gimmicky,
fat
gimmicky
man,
rappers, and like
Yeah.
there's no like not to say like whether they're talent or whatever, but like there's a lot of people that are pushing that same sort of like image.
Just be different.
you know?
you mean?
Oh no, like I just like
sorry.
just like the same. So like, in my opinion, anyways, like that's what I see. I see a lot of people just sort of looking the same, sounding the same.
Yeah.
And I say I don't want to mean this any disrespect to anyone in particular, but like, yeah, I don't know. I forgot where I was even going with that point.
Nice. Maybe I shouldn't spark this.
No, but it's true. It's true. Like you got to stand out. You got to be original, right? And
Yeah.
there's a lot of artists who, like they might have their bit of originality, but when you listen to them, it's like, how is that very different from?
Oh, that's what
another
we're
thing
talking
that's
about.
already
Yeah, like J.
established,
Cole
right?
and like Kendrick. There's like
Yeah.
they're real artists. Like
Yeah,
that's what I
but-
mean
yeah,
when it comes to
very
like the artists. Like
lyrical
they're
and-
fucking like it's like they're passionate about what they do, and they
Yeah.
really see it as an art form and a way to like express.
Yeah.
100%.
Something. Let's tell a
Yeah.
story. Like share a part of themselves to the rest of
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
Where there's other artists that don't see it like that. They're just like, this is a form of music, and
I
they're
want
just
that
like,
money.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. It's about an image. It's about a
Yeah.
whatever. They just want to live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like
You tell me what to do. I'll just sign
exactly, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like it's being pushed, and like people are just living that sort of lifestyle, or
Yeah.
doing the same old sound or doing the same old music. And there's other artists that are, like I say, true artists that have
Mhm.
that real deep, passion for the art form. And really, again, like you say, they're the ones that will stand the test of time and who will be remembered as classical people that we will
Yeah.
look upon as like greats in the in the culture and in the art form.
Kodak
Whereas,
Black.
yeah, whereas
Sorry.
I hear
some
that.
artists like that might
I'm
not.
just being dumb.
That's just my.
It's like, are you going for longevity, or do you just want to make a quick?
Yeah, you here for
In
the
and
money
out, you
or
know?
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's an opportunity to not sound like that, and
Yeah.
and to create your own audience because you
Yeah.
have access to these platforms,
Well,
right?
and I think that's why the people who actually like we're talking about the people. There's the people that are like, oh yeah, I just want to like hit and run, make some money and
Yeah,
shit. I don't
yeah.
care what happens. Like look at like Slim Jesus. Like clearly,
Anybody
like,
remember him?
Yeah, where'd he go? And anyways, but either way, there's those people, right? But then there's like the people that actually love it, and that's why I think that like people like Logic are the people that really actually like he's gonna live forever kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like say Eminem, right? And
Yeah.
I just named two fucking. Just random, right? But I just mean like those people because they fucking love it and they did, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they
They're
were
doing
passionate.
it,
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or yeah, both the people you mentioned are definitely they're
Mhm.
worthy of being mentioned.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but then there's like,
Really
like I
came
said,
in.
then there's like Slim Jesus, right? Like clearly was just like, hey, I can make some money off of rapping.
quick
if I
buck,
just like
yeah.
do this.
The,
Right?
the latest Slim Jesus is you guys ever hear of Lil Flacco? I'm pretty sure his name is. He's like super young kid. Raps about guns, all that
Wait,
shit.
is that the little chubby kid?
No, he's kind of skinny. He's got like not cornrows. I can't really speak on the style. I guess
I was just
I
watching
would
it.
get the name wrong. Yeah, he's just like he's just a kid. Lives at home with his mom, and he's just really good at spitting that. You know what I mean? Doesn't live it, but you know what I
Okay, but
mean.
the
It's not
The
authentic.
latest-
It's like he's
it's the
just like
latest
he's just
style, you know?
knows. He's like imitating what other people have said.
Look
and he's
him
good
up.
at doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
or-
yeah,
but he's not
actually,
He's got
like-
glasses on
could
and
you-
everything.
I can look him up, but I can't
Oh,
like.
yeah.
Oh, never mind. It's not. No, never mind. No, this kid. I'm just thinking of another kid. I just watched an interview with him randomly, and I said, "Oh, it's Matt Ox."
Heard of Matt Ox.
He did a couple videos whenever he was like
Isn't-
pretty little, and he was
yeah.
kind of just looked like he was wearing straight beak hat, and that was it. But now when you see him, he's like little Zen on meth or something.
Whoa,
Like
whoa.
he's just like his hair's all just like bopped. Like it looks like he
Wow.
just like does this, but he's sitting there, and the interview is called "Stop It, Mom," because I guess they bring people on with their moms. So it's him like chilling with his mom or whatever, and
Yeah,
they're like
okay.
asking questions. Yeah, he's like, I got gang banged on today, and she's like, gang banged, and because she's like pretty young too, right? Because this kid's like, I don't know how old he is, but he's like young.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's like, bang. She's like, do you know what that means? He's like, oh, he's like, I don't mean. He's like, I got set checked today or something like that. But
Yeah.
he's just like so gangster, but I'm not sure if it like.
Yeah.
Anyways, totally
Yeah,
off
doing it
topic.
ironically,
Just because
like-
you
So
just
this-
said it.
it's
I'm
like
off,
hilarious.
sorry.
These kids like Slim Jesus, but Slim Jesus were more of a YouTube sensation, I'd say,
Yeah.
like the video pot. But I'm almost certain this kid was at Rolling Loud. Not
Okay.
even gonna lie.
Slim Jesus?
No, Lil
Oh,
Tekka,
that
the
kid.
other kid I was
Okay.
talking about.
Lil-
the new,
Wow, I was about to say.
What's
Yeah.
his name? Lil what?
Lil Tekka.
Lil Tekka? Fuck, see, that might be the fuck kid, but he doesn't have glasses either. There's another kid, he's like a little chubby kid, and I just saw him.
I'll pull up a picture.
I just saw him on the Rolling Loud video with No Jumper. And
Okay.
so that's what sparked my memory, and I was like, oh, what is that
Lord.
fucking guy's name? Just real quick, while we have a moment, we're smoking on that
Yeah, shout out.
breakfast from Oasis at Pickwacken in Golden Lake. Check that out. It's past the 2 gas stations and on the left, the big one with the teepee.
That's crazy.
This
I know
is
that
who I'm
place.
talking
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
I was at
awesome.
that pick earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about.
I got,
Okay.
it's
he's the
crazy.
one dancing with the dog.
I drove right by the place. Well, 5
Oh, there's
dispensaries
a
right
bunch
there.
of them, yeah.
Look
Yeah.
familiar, anybody?
But
Was there
that's
this-
our
I don't know that kid, man.
Yeah, that's him, Lil Tekka. Check out music, I guess. I don't know. Check out our music.
weird.
Yeah.
Lil Tekka, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's like
crazy.
the Slim Jesus that actually made it. You know?
Jesus that made it.
Yeah.
Heard
This
it here
kid's still in
first,
school and
folks.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, there's more people who aren't authentic who, who
You
made
can
it,
yeah.
making gangster music. or
For
whatever.
sure, yeah.
I just find it's crazy. It's legit like this, just starting it out of nowhere. Like some random can just do this rap,
Yep.
not
Well-
even live what he's speaking, but just takes what he's heard from the radio or from everything else, and can put in a good enough way. You know what I mean? That catches everyone's ear, and next thing you know, you got this.
See, I've
The
heard
next
This
sensation.
guy, you got this person.
rappers referred to as what in one instance someone said that they were talking about how like you're supposed to build a persona and stuff, right? You're
Mhm.
supposed to
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
live your character kind of thing. And they were like, you know what? They're also like don't listen to rap, but they were like, you know what? Kind of reminds me of like WWF wrestling, like you create this character and you play this character. Like not
Yeah.
that it's like that exaggerated, but at the same time too, if you think about it, and not to make it sound bad, or like I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but
Sure.
that is totally, because there are a lot of these people who are like, oh yeah, like gangster this, gangster that,
It's a huge
but
part
they're
of
not,
it.
right? Like
Yeah, I would agree.
Some of the most remembered
Yeah.
or most successful rappers or even entrepreneurs in the music industry, right? Especially within hip hop, are like the most character, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people who had bigger than life personalities or just individual unique things about them that made them like
stand out from the
stand
rest.
out,
Yeah.
memorable,
Yeah.
worth listening to, worth looking at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't have to be like beautiful
Following.
and completely eloquent at speech, but they gotta have a unique look and something unique to say or a unique way of
Yeah.
saying it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
true.
like
Something
it doesn't
unique.
matter if it was like look at Diddy. Puff Daddy never could have had to rap or perform, but Diddy was already a persona.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look at Suge Knight. Come
Yeah.
on.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
Suge Knight
yeah.
is like worthy of news anytime he does anything.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
He's a persona that people paid attention to.
It's true.
So now, right, a huge part of it that it's like being famous is more important than like what you do to
Yeah.
be famous. right? Like, look at Suge Knight, man. The guy didn't create nothing. He created a record label that made some of the most dopest, like, rap music ever, actually. So he did do something really important, right?
Yeah.
That probably nobody else in the history of humanity could have done. He was in the perfect place at the right time with the right resources, right?
Yeah.
And he was the one able to put it together. Which is like, I guess we should be grateful for that sense. But other than that, he was trash. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And I want to sit here and bash Suge because he did amazing things. Like, when you think about it, like Suge, he gets vilified as like a terrible gangster who abused people. He did that.
Yeah.
But he also made this huge accomplishment. So we can't say he never did nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
True.
like for sure, like would Dre have put out all that music he put out if Suge wasn't in the place?
See that's where it comes in. Like I guess like his accomplishments are way different than who he is.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
whatever, you know what I mean. Like you can see his accomplishments, but also you know who he is, right? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. Because I'll admit too, like even I probably wouldn't have said this until you said that. But I just mean thinking about it, we might not have had those things, right?
Yeah.
So like, thanks or whatever, right? But he doesn't seem like a great person, you know.
I mean, we all know what he's in jail for right now,
I just mean it's not like like praise this guy, like he's great or whatever, right? It's just like he did great stuff,
yeah, for sure. For sure. And maybe hip hop is riddled with that. But maybe that's because hip hop walks through that line, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the line that runs between like the dark side and the light side of the force kind of.
It
connects both of them, you know? And some people cross one side and some people cross from one other side trying to get to the middle, but they might cross over to the other side. You know what I mean? Everybody like subconsciously wants to be on the middle.
Yeah.
But some people gravitate towards a side, or some people kind of get pulled to a side. So
shit.
But hip hop is right down the middle because you can do whatever you want with it.
True.
There's people who come from really bad circumstances and make something better, and usually eventually make something positive out of it, where they leave a life of a lot of negative things.
And that's what I gravitate towards. If I'm looking for music to listen to, you know, I want to listen to, get to know a part of you essentially from your music, like, you know. And I guess it's all about circumstances, time and place for everything. Like if I want some turn up music, you know, I might go towards something that doesn't really have but 90% of the time I'm looking for something that, you know, sort of, you know, the type of music that makes your hair.
What are you telling me?
You know, and it doesn't have to always be that, but like, you know what I mean? I at least want to like see the talent in the artist. Like, again, he takes the craft seriously. Like I want to know that he like wrote about part of him or herself and like took the time to like tell me about it. Yeah,
and you know
he's not
what?
just.
It's dope. Like right now, like you're talking about people who take the craft seriously, and you think like something like more like really golden era influence, like, you know, lyricism, telling these vivid stories of lifestyle, like Benny the Butcher come out and started doing, and it's like crazy because a lot of people would have said, "Yo, there's no money or there's no real like future have like a career as a professional rapper." In that lane in the year 2018, 2017, when he really started to really break through, and then coming into 2019, people never would have really said like, oh yeah, that's a lane where there's like, you know, you can get signed to a major or you can get major support.
Yeah.
But it all happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he's just so good at what he does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
that it transcends subgenres of, it transcends like all those other like subdivisions, right?
Yeah.
Like at the top of the hierarchy, is this good or bad hip hop? Is it really fucking good? Is it amazing? Okay, so this is like amazing fucking hip hop. So like a lot of people who appreciate hip hop, if it's done that well, even if it's not like subgenre really focused on, they're gonna want to hear it. It's fucking really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like there's a lot of people who might not be focused on, you know, Benny the Butcher, Griselda, but when they hear it, they're like, whoa, that's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their playlist might not be full of that kind of stuff, but they're going to put one or two tracks in there.
Yeah.
And I definitely go through phases of styles anyways, you know. I definitely go for I'm more lyrical for sure, but sometimes, you know, I mean, like for like some Tech 9, like more heavy, you know, hip hop. And sometimes I just like Atmosphere or like Classified, you know, someone that's slow telling me a story, message, whatever. And I go through crazy man. So it's like that. Yeah, I'm like, you know, throw a couple of this in there, a couple of that in there, you know.
The eclectic sort of
yeah,
like music taste.
sure.
Yeah. That's the amazing thing about hip hop, though, right? You can get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
The digital era, there's one thing that you have now, and I'm gonna tell you this as an old school head who like is still really engaged in the new school era. You have a lot more traffic now. I'll be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Because it's
yeah.
not about quality.
There's no barrier to create it. That's
Yeah.
the issue.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it's like you had to get your shit together to the point where you could have a recording,
Yeah.
crappy or
absolutely.
otherwise, right?
Yeah.
You had to come up with money. You had to schedule the time. You had to even understand how to like call up a recording studio, talk to somebody,
Yeah.
explain to them that you wanted to record a hip hop song
Yeah.
or whatever. Then take you seriously, book you. You know, have your money together. Which studio time has gone down in price nowadays because of the digital revolution, which is a great thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of
It's
course.
accessible.
Yeah.
So like that alone, you know, like coming out with and then like getting, you know, it mixed down and like a mixed down version of it on a digital audio tape or a cassette tape or later on a CD or whatever, right? Like that was all a process. And then like how do you duplicate this? Because it's not a digital file that you could just share. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So back in the day there was a huge barrier just to entry. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Financial barrier, access, you know. Sometimes the gatekeepers didn't want you in because it's hip hop and they're like, it's a rock studio. We're not going to record hip hop.
Yeah.
Was there there was times in Ottawa where there was no hip hop studio.
Yeah.
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 You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then when like Swap came, it kind of changed that. You know what I mean?
Well, and like, at the same time too, yeah, like really all you fucking need is like a home computer, which most people have,
A laptop.
yeah, or
Yep.
whatever, yeah, and then it's like, oh, you don't have a microphone, boom, fucking $50 at the pawn shop or whatever, right?
Yeah,
and
no,
like
you're right.
boom,
And,
yeah.
and now you have a
one,
song.
man. Yeah.
Fucking get a beat from your buddy or whatever, yeah, boom, now you have a song. And then like, yeah, so, well, like I would want to pay to have it like mastered and
Yeah,
shit,
yeah, it
right?
wouldn't be perfect, but it's
But
something
even
to
then,
show
it's yeah,
somebody.
it's right
And that's a
there, and
start.
here it is, right?
Yeah.
So that does make sense because I actually never thought of that before too.
Yeah.
Like even in the sense of going to the studio, like yeah, sure, we'll take your money and all that and do whatever. But even like you said, like do the gatekeepers allow
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
to come in or whatever, right?
And
Yeah.
like the top dogs back then, man, just like when you were a kid, obviously you didn't know all the details, but even today, man, like they just, you look back and they just seem so like legendary and one of a
Yeah.
kind, right? And it's because look at the barriers that they had to go through. Only they filtered out all the fucking, well, excuse my language, you know, but all the phonies and fakes or whatever you want to call it, they
Excuse
made
my
them
language.
prove themselves, right? They made you prove yourself that we're the one. Like if you wanted to do this, you're gonna pay the money and all. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that was a huge part of it. Or else, like, if you were so mega talented and dedicated to what you do, people would invest in you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
absolutely.
It was definitely industry, and I think that's the difference now still between like a lot of artists that you hear who
Yeah.
might have talent, and then the artists that you hear that's like, okay, this is a product that's ready for the market. So when I said like Quest and Dreamland,
Mhm.
like every artist that he records, everything that he puts, this is actually ready to take a step into a marketplace where it's competing against
Yeah.
other products as a product.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's one
absolutely.
thing
Yeah.
to just put out your art to one art, which is like, I'm probably going to do that in the next 2. Just put out some art because I want to put out art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not pursuing being a professional artist. That
Mhm.
means, right?
Right.
I'm a
Yeah.
hobby artist.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if I make an amazing piece of art that's worthy of being professional art, it's not. If I didn't put it out with the purpose of it being
Of
commercialized,
continuing to do
and
that
I
on
want
a
this to
regular
be
basis.
a career path for me to make my living, or even more to just make a product that's designed for mass market as a product, not as like just a piece of art. That's the difference between being in the business and being an artist.
Right.
Mhm.
You could be one or the other, or you could be both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the people who are artists in the business usually do very well once they figure it out or they get the proper team behind them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
You know
and
what
that's
I mean?
what
People who
the
are
biggest
just in
part
the
of it is the
business,
team. Is
but
for
they're
sure.
not artists. They're missing the soul of it. They're missing the hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's people who could try to emulate it, imitate it, duplicate it, all
Yeah.
that, and they're really good at business, so they're actually sell their product. But that's not the product like that we said. That's like when you look 20 years back, like what do you remember? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You remember the stuff that was art. But
That's right.
the products that get the most visibility are really great pieces of art that are also turned into really great products. So that's the
Yeah.
business of music, you know what I mean? And that's like the marriage of like two different worlds. When you talk about like really commercially successful arts in hip hop, I mean, you got a lot of great examples, right? Dre is probably the greatest mind of all time
yeah.
at
Well,
coordinating all of that.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Taking art and turning it into a product that like everybody would want.
yeah.
Because the whole West Coast sound was basically he defined it, but he didn't he wasn't like, oh, I'm Dre, I have all the creative genius.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he produced in the sense like he brought different players together when he
Yeah,
got
yeah.
the Chronic written or
Well,
when Doggy
Jay-Z
Style was
did
put
a lot
together.
of work on that, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
he
know what I
wrote
mean?
a lot
That's
of that.
right,
A lot
so-
of
Yeah,
that.
I heard
You
you wrote
know?
a lot of it.
Yeah.
Why was Snoop so prolific on the Chronic?
Yeah.
Because Snoop obviously was co-writing. You know what I mean?
For
Yeah.
sure.
I think, I don't know for sure, but I think
Oh.
Daz and Corrupt wrote some of it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they weren't really on it. But you know, like they had
Are
a
you talking
team
about
there.
the original Chronic?
Yeah.
yeah.
that first
See,
one.
someone told me Eminem either did or helped him write
2001.
the 2001.
The 2001
Probably,
one,
though.
yes,
yeah.
And I don't know if Jay-Z hand in on that one too. If anyone
Jay-Z
Maybe
wrote
not that one.
Still
Actually, yeah.
Dre.
still Dre, yeah, still D.
I helped on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's amazing when you see that, and there's the potential for that to happen here now because
Yeah.
there's people the ability to really approach it that way. People like Quest who understand like it has to be great art, but you also have to polish it and turn it into a product.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure. It
And
has to
if
be a
he's working
brand.
with
You like brand yourself and like become something that is marketable.
Yeah.
And, you're gonna have a much easier
And you're
time.
not just throwing content every which way.
Yeah.
It like you said, the song isn't just fucking. It's marketed
Yeah. And then
as the art, right?
and then you have the potential to compete in a marketplace where it is accessible, put out the right product. And that's
Yeah.
what I love about the current digital age. It's not that like it's different, you know what I mean? Like if you were trying to break in and you're trying to just get a lot of streams to be known, like you're not making money really off those streams.
Yeah.
But once you build that reputation, you should have a plan in place already, like what you're gonna do to monetize your reputation once you build
Right.
a reputation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's a different approach.
Yeah.
Right? But there is a way in, and it's like now it's like way more accessible. People talk about gatekeepers. There's way less gatekeepers. Good luck getting all the pieces of together that you need to build a team that can run all those different things on.
There's a
There's
lot
There's no
to
gatekeeper.
do.
There's nobody in your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to do the work now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You got to put the money in. You got to put the work in. So like, go ahead and do it. Let's do it. You know, the opportunity is here. So for anyone who's complaining, it's kind of like, well, you didn't have all the puzzle. You
For
know,
sure.
You couldn't put the whole picture together because you didn't have all the pieces.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to, building a scene in the city now. It's like there's a lot of great artists, but they have to have teams to be with. They can make great art on their own, which
Yeah.
I appreciate enough already. You know what I mean? Thank you to all the great artists out there, especially local, who are making art that's worthy of paying attention to. That's an
Yeah.
amazing thing. That's for a lot of us, it's a therapeutic thing or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So that's awesome. But if we want to have some of the artists that can make it as actually like that's their career, they're professional artists, there needs to be like an ecosystem around them. You know what I mean? Like management, publishers, booking agents,
Yeah.
promoters, you know, like
The
that's
serious
Well,
everything.
shit.
And even just speaking of all this and Papa Quest, Dreamland and everything, he did the master class or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And a lot of it was all of this stuff, right? Like all the home studio, like, and this is what you need for a home studio, right? Then he got into making the music, right? But he also got into like branding yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's like super super
The
important.
most important.
But point being too though is that like that's I saw that too and was like, this is awesome because like I never pictured that happening in Ottawa, right? Like some
Mhm.
dude standing up there and telling me literally, this is how you fucking do it.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
totally.
and you know, and so it was cool, right? So it's just seeing that, and then the next week was Arfie, sorry.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
So I know, he did one. He hosted one too. But yeah, even just seeing that, right? Like we didn't end up going to that one, but no, like I said, just
It's just nice to
that
see
we're
that
having.
there's-
Yeah, we're
yeah,
now
yeah.
getting
Yeah.
that shit right. Like
Yeah,
all that support from everyone.
for sure.
Yo,
But if-
speaking of support from everyone, shouts to Papes. Brought this for
Hey.
you guys.
Yeah, man.
No way.
This one
Thank
for
you,
everybody.
bro.
Papes is a local rolling
Thanks,
paper
bro.
company. They make rolling papers. They're here in Ottawa. You know what I mean? So shouts to them. They also supported CRB. You know?
Yo, I love these. Like, got a little magnet on it. That's fucking
Yeah,
high
man.
class, dude. I
Yeah.
like that, man.
Found them
Appreciate it.
online.
I got
Appreciate
the
that.
king size hemp ones.
All right, so
Okay.
I guess in
Flax,
turn,
I
I'll
got
say
these
I'll
size
ask you a
flax.
question. We're gonna do this right now. What's your favorite color?
Oh yeah.
Adventure weights.
You want to give us a gift? We give you a gift. What's
Yeah.
your favorite color?
Favorite color. Right now, I'm going to say gold.
Gold.
Or
Are
yellow.
you- are you
Translates to
serious?
yellow.
No kidding,
It's
right?
just like
So
yellow.
I got a stack of stickers right here.
Uh-huh.
The very top one, gold.
Boom.
No way.
That's
There it is,
dope.
bro. I was gonna sell that one actually. I was not gonna give that one away.
That's dope.
But
Much respect.
That's all you.
There
Yo,
you go.
this is great. Yo, this is like a decal?
It's a date.
Yeah.
Okay. This is dope, man. Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, this is
Thank
If
you.
Stick it, it's not coming off.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, I love what you guys are doing here, man. You know, like connecting people in the scene through basically it's like storytelling, right?
Just
Yeah,
hanging
man.
out, yeah,
Tell
getting
us
to know
about
people.
yourself,
Yeah, that's
you
it.
know, we just like to loosen up, you know, like have a drink, smoke if you like to smoke, and yeah, just like take that professional skin off. You know, we
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about professional stuff, obviously, but yeah, you know what I mean. We like to learn about you. You know,
Yeah.
people
just
rap
hanging
if they
out.
like, artists
Yeah,
rap if they
yeah.
like to rap.
But
Yeah,
see,
man, it's
you know
whatever.
what's fucking hilarious? Have you ever seen the show Letterkenny?
I've never watched Letterkenny.
No,
You
okay,
should.
yeah.
That's a dope
Heard of
show.
it?
So there was 6 seasons. Now there's 7, but there was 6 seasons. I had watched it. I might have watched it twice, but so I watched it, and then I noticed one day there was a 7th season, and it was after we did that. We started doing this and shit, right? So, anyways, I started watching the 7th season, and on the 7th season, spoiler alert. Turn your TVs off. No, so they get a TV show, and
Okay.
so he's like a farmer or whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's called Crack and Ag, like agriculture.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you call in, and you ask him a question, right? Like, oh, you know, something's wrong with my tractor or whatever, right? But anyways, so on the 2nd episode, they're like, funny, I think I might have said this the other night on the podcast the other night, but on the 2nd episode, he's like. Yeah, so he's like, you might notice we're drinking beers this time. Yeah, so he's like, Katie got an email from one of you guys, and she can talk on the like little thing, so it's like, and she's like, no, it was a DM. He's like, a DM, like a DMT, like Joe Rogan, and he's like, well, anyways, he's like, one of you guys DMT'd Katie here. And said that watching the show, you felt like the fourth man chilling with us, you know, or whatever. So he's like, so this time we're drinking beers, so it's just like we're just hanging out, you know. So we're just hanging out, drinking beers, and
That's
like,
what's up.
but yeah, I was like, man, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, they totally copied us.
Yeah.
It's a show about a show.
Man, that show fucking cracks me up.
It's a good one.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But
I
yeah,
love
we
it.
just like to basically, you know, get to know the artist, let them, you know,
Back
talk.
to that, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No.
Never-ending tales, man.
Never-ending tales of styles of prophet, yo. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. We basically just we're like, man, we're so into hip hop, we're so all this. We should just welcome other artists in here and, you know, talk about everything.
Yeah.
It's almost molded itself, to be honest with you.
So,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, really. If I gotta
Yeah.
be honest,
Um,
it's been a good run. I love it.
Well,
Shout out to
yeah.
everyone watching.
Yeah.
We love everyone. For
but
sure.
so yeah, we've heard about a lot of that.
talked about Boogaloo Trial.
Put out your
Boogaloo.
fucking album
Yeah.
in 2003, you said.
That's right.
Yeah.
But we fast forward a little bit, and so you got Capital Rap Battles,
That's right.
and
yeah.
that's been going down for a bit though, right?
Capital Rap Battles is like, it'll be 4 years old in like the end of March of
Okay.
2020.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've been doing it for like 3 3/4 years or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, co-founded it with Prehistoric. And actually Mashup, who's he's a producer, recording engineer. He was a founder. He's no longer really involved.
Okay.
But he definitely was involved in getting it set up and getting it off the ground and making it a force when it started. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was the three of us, you know, shouts to the homie Frenchie. He's deeply involved nowadays, you know what I'm saying?
He hit up a little while ago. Frenchie CRB is really commented.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what it is, man.
Well, way to go, Brad.
I know, right? Well, it wasn't too long ago. I was
I'm just joking.
like Frenchie really represents, man. He plays a good role in the organization nowadays and making it you know what it is, making it successful.
Hell yeah.
A lot of people, man. You know, shouts to DJ Alive, our DJ. Huge shouts to Flea Normality. Connor, you know what I'm saying?
Take the photos
and like all our videos.
Videos,
Connor sit out and Connor
all the videography.
Yeah, like you know, like since he's come in and really like cleaned up the video and made it nice, made the editing nice, made the little animations nice, and all the visuals that go with it, right? Like the text and all that. Like yeah, man, it's definitely made the product like more ready as a product.
Motion graphics and stuff like that.
There's art in there, but you know he really kind of joined the squad and helped make it.
Does really good level. Work.
So it attracts a lot more people that way. People. So even on the back end, on the talent side, right? Once we created the platform, people started paying attention. Once we refined the quality of the and on the platform, people started paying more attention and more people started taking it seriously. So
of course.
We have like the last event we had, I think we had way more people from out of town battling in Ottawa than people from Ottawa.
Damn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of thing that's going on. We had 2 guys from Windsor canceled. It's too bad. We had Santo come from Toronto. We had Prophet was supposed to come from Montreal, but he didn't come because
Prophet, how's it spelled?
like profit,
like not money profit.
No, like
okay,
a profit, like a soothsayer.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't come, but he was on the card. Mailman from Kingston was on the card.
That's a dope name.
What's his name? Samson, from Cornwall, and then Super King Armor from Queens, New York.
What?
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? He's an old grind time vet. Like he hasn't been around for years, so his reputation isn't known anymore. This is like the first time he battled in a long time.
Yeah.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Super King Armor. But you know, we were glad to have him out here. He put on a dope show.
Sick.
And you know what I mean? So it's an old vet from like the old days of battle rap, grind time, and he's just popped up here. Shouts to the homie King Kimbit who connected him to CRB. He was coming here to do her cipher and stuff, and then you know, he did the battle with us after. He battled he battled King D from Arm Prior.
Oh, Arm Prior. No way.
Yeah.
Shout out to Arm Prior.
Yeah, so Arm Prior. King D's a dope battler, man. He's got a dope pen and his performance has been consistently improving. Like his pen is actually really dope. He's a really good writer.
Yeah.
I respect.
How old is that? I don't know if I know that person or not.
King D, I don't know how old King D is. Andrew. I don't know how old he is. He's actually not in Arm Prior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in somewhere close to Arm Prior though.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
One of those even smaller little, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not like Douglas. I don't know where it is.
Douglas, shouts to Douglas, man. That's where I was born. Well, I wasn't like in Douglas, but I lived in Douglas whenever I was born until I was 3, and then I moved into Renfrew.
So we both know the Ottawa Valley, so we know that there's some tiny ass places where there's like 20 people who live in this little hamlet or whatever. It's got a name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when like if you blink, so like literally, there's many places I drive through like that. Yeah. And it's not even a joke. Like
it's a lot different than being in a city like Ottawa that has grown to the point that it has, even in size.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's a different opportunity with a city that gets bigger.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think there's a lot of space now where it was like before you would see more than like one hip hop show a week. You know what I mean? Whether it was like local or out of towns, headlines, or just kind of like smaller developing artists. Now it's like you'll see multiple shows on one night.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they can both work.
Yeah.
Oh, last Friday there was 2 shows.
There was. What was that other show? It was
What's his name?
it was the hip hop food drive, but then there was also an artist here, I think, eh?
Yeah,
It
I
was,
know that in the same building, Victor put on a show.
That's it, Victor.
The
Yeah, I
producer,
was like
Victor.
Victor.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Marty Party. Shout out to
Marty
Victor and
Party.
Marty Party.
Oh, Marty.
I actually met Marty at fucking Cranium.
Yeah,
Funny
Cranium.
story. He was standing beside me. I forget what he asked me. He asked me something. Forget, whatever. He asked me something. We're standing at the bar and I was getting like last drink for us and stuff. I'm like, you guys
Yeah.
want a drink? And B-Show was like, yeah, I'll get a shot. And yeah, so he was standing there and he turned and he asked me a question. I forget what it was. But anyways, I'm like, hey man, I'm like, you want a drink? Because he's just kind of like, standing around. Oh, he was waiting to get a drink. That's what it was. And I'm like, fuck man. I'm like, you want a drink? Like what? He's like, oh, well, like, I'll take a shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, we're doing a shot too. Fucking
Yeah.
right, yeah. So we did a shot, and actually, Ben got a sick-ass picture on my
Oh,
phone.
yeah.
I was gonna
so-
ask, was that me? Like when I took
Yeah,
that picture,
yeah.
that's
I
what I
was,
was gonna
I
ask.
was on my phone, and it's like, he also got, like, the new iPhone, so it takes sick pictures. But anyway, short story long is that's where I got that picture or whatever. But he goes, yeah, man. He goes, you got to meet Victor, though. You got to meet Victor. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. And I, like, looked him up and was like, yeah, cool, I'll hit him up. And not long later, there's this guy standing there, and he goes, oh, hey, yeah, starts talking to him. He goes, wait, Victor. He's like, this is Styles. Like, you got to meet this guy. He sees it with the podcast, and he's like, okay, cool, right on, nice to meet you. And he goes, wait. He's like that 4G or whatever. I'm like, yeah. Fuck yeah, that's us.
So,
But yeah, so yeah, those guys too then.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's
like,
it.
I heard that both the shows worked out pretty well, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I did.
when you do that, it's like, yo, this is dope that we can have. And there was other shows that week too, right? Like
Yeah.
not the same day, but maybe there was actually. You know what I mean?
When was that? Last weekend.
Yeah, I think maybe.
The hell was
Can't
it?
quite remember. I know
Oh,
Dax,
Dax
was
is this week,
last
yeah.
night. Yeah, I was gonna say Dax was last night, but yeah,
He rolled
I
through
feel like there
CHO.
was,
I think.
though.
I guess we had a battle on Saturday.
Oh, I heard about that actually. Why do I feel like I know?
You're talking,
Did
like,
that
you're talking
happen?
about Cranium
Cranium.
Festival, yeah. So I thought you were talking about two different events.
Why do I feel like did something fall through on that though? Or
Cranium?
wasn't Ruckus supposed to perform at that one or to battle at that one?
Yeah.
Why do I feel like something happened with his battle?
Yeah, there was something.
Someone bailed out or something.
Yeah, his opponent couldn't make it.
Maybe I shouldn't
Yeah.
be speaking on things like that, but yeah.
No,
I
it's
just
like, I
remember
mean, that
from
happens.
one. Yeah.
The opponent kind of had what we think was like a legitimate reason, So hopefully the battle will be rescheduled and they don't have to like, waste the time that they put into
The
preparing all
preparation,
bars.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the risks with battling. You know what I mean? It's
No
not
doubt.
like it's not like booking a performer who just does a performance that they probably have created to that same performance. We expect an original piece of work for a battle that you're
Yeah.
not doing somewhere else at another time, right?
Yeah.
So like the amount of composing that a battle rapper goes through is crazy
Yeah.
compared to any other type of like. I mean, some writers just who are rappers write a lot of songs, but battle rappers have this pressure of like, yo, you have a deadline where this has to be written and performed.
Yeah.
So it's a different type of regimen,
written,
you know what I mean, for
remembered,
being an
and
artist.
performed.
So some people just really thrive in that environment. And
I
some
figured
people,
a lot just go freestyle. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
No,
No?
man, they get time and write it.
Well,
Yeah.
preparation, but yeah, I guess
Yeah.
they write it out and memorize.
Yeah, I think
pre-plan,
Ruckus
no
said he
doubt.
freestyled one of his verses.
I think
Oh.
he was he was here a few times, and I remember he was like spitting bars, like getting ready for it and
Yeah.
stuff. I was like, man, yeah, that's dope.
So the difference between like, and that's what, again, like when we talk about like the quality of the product, right? Like I think rap became a little bit larger of an audience when they started removing the beats
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
writing it premeditated and
Yeah.
creating like this theatrical performance out of it, right?
Yeah,
so and the better the production quality of that like whole staging of that like performance, the more people watch it.
Yeah,
Right?
no
Yeah.
doubt.
That's what we've definitely noticed.
Yeah.
So like the good writers who like write something and it's like so well memorized that like, with freestyles you could see moments of brilliance.
Yeah.
But then like what do you see in between? With improv, it's not as polished a product. It could be the most actually entertaining thing when it's done really well.
Yeah,
No
but
doubt.
it's few
There's
and
so
far
much
between
close-
But
though.
there's
That
no
people can actually
guarantee.
do that though. It's tough.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people that can, it's
Yeah, unless you got that actor blood,
Yeah. there's a bunch of different pieces that gotta come together, right? The ability to perform, the ability to think up something really interesting to say
Yeah.
as an improv, and then the ability to perform it, right? To make a show out of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, definitely like the written era that we're in now, that's been around for like, you know, a long time now, 10 years longer, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man.
That this has been the dominant format for rap battling. We've seen the audiences just get bigger.
Mm-hmm.
We've also started to kind of see a decline or a fragmentation of the audiences. Depends how you look at it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just a different beast, and like, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's breaking off. There's this, like different types of it that are kind of building now.
So
But-
what different, like, I'm not familiar with like the different types of
Types
rap
of
battling.
battling.
Yeah, so I mean, you got your different leagues that are differentiated by sort of different styles.
It's like
Right.
what would be like the difference between King of the Dot and CRB?
King of the Dot, I mean, they're way more established, so they have a
Yeah,
way
for sure.
deeper pool of talent that they
Yeah,
deal
yeah.
with.
Do
Right,
they
so-
they use beats though? Like
No, they
that-
don't use
they-
beats.
Same
yeah,
format,
so,
sort of
so
thing.
it's the same format.
So they're
then?
like the gold standard in Canada for like, you know, the format, the common format of rap battles
Yeah.
now. But then you have man, I'm just losing the name. There's a league in New York now
yeah.
Oh,
that
Oh,
they have
that's what
battles over beats,
I was what?
battles with beats.
Yeah, like 8 Mile, basically, like an instrumental like
Well,
that, or
This is super interesting because it's like a modern incarnation of like that style. Where
yeah,
you have an instrumental, but this is some distinct similarities and some distinct differences, right?
okay.
So you have an instrumental, you have a microphone, but instead of a handheld microphone, they have a headset microphone.
like a Backstreet Boys,
Oh.
Sort of.
like pop.
But
yeah.
check this, keep going,
I-
right? You are not freestyling, so you knew your beat in advance and you
Oh,
wrote to
okay,
it
yeah,
like the modern sort of rap battle.
Yeah.
But then we put the beat back into the equation. So now they're doing this rapping over beats, and it brings back that aspect of rap battling that we had in the like golden era, right?
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
8 Mile era.
Yeah,
right?
2000.
But then
2000.
everything is premeditated.
Yeah.
Everything is written.
Okay.
I saw a thing. It was have you ever heard of Roan?
Yeah.
So I was watching. My buddy watches. Shout out to Norlock. Gang. So actually, he called on one of our first episodes, and we talked
Yeah.
about ice fishing.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's big into Barstool Sports, and so they have all kinds of shit, right?
Oh yeah.
And he was showing me Roan, and he actually battled Sharon
Okay.
and lost, but where am I going with, or no, sorry, he won. Sharon lost.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
But where am I going with this? Roan. Oh, so Roan battled Pat Stay one time,
Mm-hmm.
but it was I don't know if they did this way or if the battle was this way, but they complimented each
Compliment
other.
battle.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because
Yeah.
you said the microphone, they just had the like headset microphone because that's what they
That's
had
what
in
they
that battle.
Yeah.
But was that battle? Side note, was that battle like supposed to be complimented?
so,
Or
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's a compliment
Okay.
battle, I believe.
I thought maybe they had just got together and were like, you know what, you want to just compliment the shit out of each other? Like,
Yeah.
That's
Nah,
hilarious too.
there's
Watching
it's a
that.
thing, like a compliment battle is like
Yeah.
another thing, you know what I mean?
that's
Yeah.
sick.
But you'll just find like, I mean, the lines are getting blurred, but for a while, you know, you had like different styles would more gravitate towards different platforms. Like you know,
Yeah.
you have URL in New York, you know, Smack URL. You have King of the Dot in Toronto, but now King of the Dot's all over the place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And URL is doing more like, you know, having, you know, shows in different parts. And then like, you know, Don't Flop, which was like big in the UK, kind of actually flopped. And then Premiere
No.
Battle,
That's funny.
No way.
it kind of flopped. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still alive and they're still putting on events and successful ones, but they're definitely not what they used to be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I guess that's kind of like to be expected with something like that.
Can
Bring it
happen.
You
Can't
know,
all make
King of the
it.
Dot definitely experienced some challenges
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? But there's a new league in the UK called Premier Battle League. So I mean, like those are like the big ones.
Yeah.
You know, something like CRB is like we started off. We were definitely like a crazy like that's a bush league.
Yeah.
Like the people who are happy to have it were the people here, pretty much. You know?
Yeah.
And then the people closest to here, but who weren't from here. And then like other, battlers who had access to other battle rap leagues, other platforms started seeing it, as a valid opportunity.
Yeah.
And then other people started seeing it as like a good opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where we're at now. So it's like I never thought of it as much as being something where that many people other cities would come voluntarily.
Yeah.
But now that I'm seeing that, I'm like, that's how much like we lack a business approach to hip hop in Ottawa and a history of like nurturing business for hip hop and for the urban music. You know what I mean? Especially like hip hop, like all the elements of hip hop as well, but especially the music I'm referring to right now. So when you achieve that, it's like, damn, that was possible. Like I didn't even really think of that possibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'd known about that possibility and I could have planned for it, shit could have just been that much more lit. You know what I mean? It could have moved that much quicker. It could have moved that much further at a quicker rate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you know. But it's like, so going through the process it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Of creating something and then nurturing it and like watching it. And it's like watching it from a lot of different perspectives. So that's why like I love creating platforms to put other people out now, because it takes a certain set of skills and experience, but also like just like a passion to do it, because like it's a lot of work.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, like getting CRB off the ground was crazy, the amount of work that went in, and like some of the long periods of work where we just had to grind it out, where we didn't have much resources, not that much goodwill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was always goodwill out there, don't get me wrong, because there's people who supported from jump and who have helped it happen. We definitely didn't do it on our own. I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
Because there is definitely a group of people that was smaller at the beginning that's growing bigger as we go.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But definitely shout out to all the day ones. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But shout out to everybody else too. You know what I mean? But I day ones in a different light than I view the people who kind of came around after. You know what I mean? And if I didn't approach you about it, then that doesn't count. You know what I mean? But it's the people that I approached and was like, yo, could you support this, or could you be down with this? You know, and like some people off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and some people took it seriously, but there was really no way they could help, whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you, for considering it to those people. But to the people who were just like in a position to collaborate or whatever, but didn't take it seriously, like, it's too bad,
I bet they didn't see the vision.
Yeah.
The opportunity.
Yeah. But there's always gonna be that,
For sure.
And there's always like that element of building something so that people can see your vision and then just be a part of it after.
Yeah.
And that's cool too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's gonna be people who never want to mess with it because it's not their thing. And that's absolutely cool too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And we have an opportunity here to have all sorts of different things within the banner of hip hop like that happen in the city, where it's like everybody don't need to be part of it, because it's
And that's actually brings up a good point to like something I've said in the past, is that like your ability to succeed doesn't take away from my ability to succeed. In fact, like when you succeed, it's like the people assume that there's a piece of the pie, and if you get some, that's less for me to get. And it's like if people can have their own success and not take away from someone else, and not have to throw shade on anyone else, and we can all live in our own little niche of popularity or whatever it is, and everyone have everyone can eat.
I think I brought this up on the exact same topic before too, so sorry, but our lawyer said about how people are trying to like tear down, like everyone's trying to build a building, right?
Yeah.
And people are trying to tear down other buildings so that theirs can be the tallest. But you can be the tallest building at the same time as helping other people build their building.
Yeah.
You just don't want them to be taller than you, right? So it's like you keep building yours, right? So everyone's just building a building, but instead of tearing other people's buildings down, just like help them
Build
at the same
society
time,
together.
but still have your fucking biggest building in the world
Yeah,
picture in the head, in
Yeah.
your head, like,
And a lot of people don't know, right? Like, I don't see it as like, oh, there's a certain amount to go around, and once somebody's got a piece, there's less to go around.
Yeah,
I don't see it
that's-
that way. I believe that you create more opportunities, first
Absolutely.
of all. But second of all, the whole thing with the building, I love that analogy, because it's like, at the same time, I could be helping you build your building, but I could still be competing with you.
Yeah.
Right? I
Absolutely.
can collaborate and support what you do and have something to gain from it. So
Yeah.
I do it, that's capitalism and that's business.
Yeah.
And still do mine to the point where I'm not running interference
Yeah.
by working with you. I'm actually helping.
Helping,
Right? And benefiting from it.
Totally.
And building my thing too, and trying to
Yeah.
compete with you, but still contributing to yours.
Yeah.
Wow, you know what that does? That creates opportunities.
Absolutely.
That
Yeah.
creates
That's what it's all
opportunities for
about.
shit to happen, for money to be made. I'm sorry, I keep talking about money lately.
No,
Because
Hey,
I
man.
see, but I'm gonna tell you something, man.
It
I'm not the
makes the
kind of
world go
person
round, apparently.
who wants to be rich or wants
Yeah.
to be powerful, be greedy. But I'll tell you what, my mind is on right now at this point. It's about the need to develop a business for
Mhm.
hip hop in order for it to be sustainable for some people. Because there's some people who have such good art that it's like you want them to be able to do that full time, so you can benefit from just having that art to consume, like to enjoy, to cherish as something that enriches your life. So it's like if we can enable them to be professional artists, to have all the tools at their disposal
Yeah.
to make the best art they can make, and then get it out to the masses. Imagine that.
Everybody
Yeah.
wins.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally.
You know what I'm
Fucking
saying?
right. And even like you said too, with earlier you said like, okay, like we have this like podcast or whatever, right? And we bring people on and help them, but they also are helping us, and like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's I'm kind of getting off track here, but it's kind of the same thing because it's we're not.
Everybody helps everybody.
Yeah, that's it.
We're,
Everyone-
we're
yeah.
helping them get to maybe an audience that might not have seen them otherwise, and they're helping us with content to
And
put
no
out
one's-
to the
yeah,
world.
No
and
one's getting
Yeah.
hurt.
you know what I
right?
mean?
Like,
So
yeah.
everybody's gaining from it, and everybody's winning. So
Yeah,
there's
it's not tear you down. It's build everyone up at the same
Yeah,
time. But
yeah.
I still want to be the bigger building.
no.
Or whatever, right? Like
See,
you
that's
still
that
have
healthy competition, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that's
exactly.
one of the
yeah.
things that has been like a big part of hip hop too.
True
right?
that. Yeah.
You know, like people braggadocio, like, I'm the biggest dog on the block.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
like the executives of the labels wanting to brag about, who's the best, I run the business or whatever. The DJs bragging about who has the best, like who can rock the party the best.
Yeah.
Like it goes through different stages, bragging about who's the most gangster or who's the,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
pull the most girls or who's got the nicest ride, whatever people are bragging about. But at some point too, it's about people like bragging about like how well they're doing as an artist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they like really like pushes them to want to work hard to do well as an artist.
Yeah, man.
Like look how much I'm doing. Like, my album was dope.
Yeah.
Been on 20 million tours. Like, so I mean,
It
it's
lights that
dope.
fire, yeah, for
so
sure.
it encourages better art, encourages better business, encourages people to really go hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like if you're going hard and nobody else is going hard, at one point you're gonna ease up. Because nobody else is going hard. Nobody's even close to you. You want to be the
Yeah.
biggest? You're the biggest. There's no
You're
threats on the
gonna
horizon.
get caught
You're
sleeping.
gonna kind of chill out a bit, right?
Yeah.
But if there's other people who are trying to compete with you, also have the same mindset, like I want to be the biggest building, I want to have the most success,
Yeah.
then you're gonna always see them out there being like, these people aren't letting up. I can't let up. You know what I mean? I gotta be 5
exactly.
steps ahead of myself
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
It's to have that mindset too that I think is a positive
Yeah.
thing
True
too.
that.
That's
Yeah.
to-
I gotta
to
have
teach
the-
that mindset
I'm
in
on
people.
the 25th floor. I got a plan to have the 35th floor done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
I'm
By
getting
next week, yeah.
the 26th floor started. You know what I
Totally,
mean?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's a good thing about hip hop that has made it very important part of popular culture,
yeah,
right?
the competition and shit.
The competition, the fact that drove people to get better, to be the best
Yeah.
at what they did. Look at the B-boys who would compete for supremacy. The DJs would do it, the MCs would do it. Graffiti's all about that too, right?
Yeah,
So
oh,
like
yeah.
all the elements, the beat makers, then like the crew battles, like Get Fresh Crew versus Boogie Down Productions, or like Death Row versus Pac, Pac versus Bad Boy, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Bad boy.
Like all those crazy battles, like a lot of that brought us some of the best material. Like, come on, man, when you think about hit 'em up, or like,
Yeah.
some of these
Who
classics,
shot you?
Who shot
Who
you,
shot
Yeah.
Folks didn't finish. Man, where'd we hear that? There was a guy. Oh, the guy at that Radio Onyx thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Last Thursday, there was the Radio Onyx
Yeah.
or whatever, and one of the guys. Well, I was like, "Fuck!" I'm like, he sounds like somebody, and I was like, Jay-Z. I'm like, no, fuck. Man, I'm like, this guy's Tupac. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, fucking right. And I brought my brother there or whatever, right? My brother, all of a sudden, he looks at me and goes, did you hear that? And I'm like, no. He said, y'all think that I died in Vegas or something like that? And I was just like, oh, shit.
Wow.
Like, that's insane.
Really channeling
Like,
Pac.
yeah,
Wow.
fucking right. Just real quick, I gotta take a break.
All right. Yeah, man. So CRB, yeah, man.
CRB.
You know, we've been lucky too to have a couple of really well positioned artists kind of grace our stage. You know, Paul Rich, he's our hometown guy. Now he's from another city, but we've adopted him here in Ottawa. You know, Whitby is the city. Was Paul Rich's motto, right?
Okay.
So obviously he's from Whitby, but he moved here years ago now, right around the time the league was starting, I believe, or maybe a bit before.
Okay.
But he's been here ever since. So, you know, he's the King of the Dot champ from back in the day. He's definitely a certain type of MC.
Yeah.
He's also from a certain era where performance was really important. And he puts on a great show every time.
Yeah.
You'll always be entertained when you see Paul Rich, and he's been here since pretty much the beginning. You know what I mean?
I think that's a big part of that scene too, right? Is like the atmosphere about like 'cause the crowd makes a big part of it too, right?
Yeah.
Like they gotta, you know, be into what they're hearing, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but
So,
I mean, like a good entertainer, even in that format, can bring the crowd in. Even if people in the crowd are not like, you know, battle rap fans, like someone who's really good, crowd's gonna want to hear. Like Sharon versus Chrome at Capital Punishment 4 for us, right?
Yeah, that was recent, right? In
October. Yeah. That was by far the biggest battle we've ever put on.
Yeah.
It was a great event. You know, Sharon and Chrome both put on world-class performances.
Yeah.
as always.
That's
You know, Yeah, like, you know, and that's what you get when you
Yeah.
get those kind of bookings,
No
right?
doubt.
yeah.
So the league had to grow to the point where, I mean, artists with names like Sharon would really take us seriously.
Yeah.
And I respect that. And he never he was all like Sharon was always down to like support the league when he could. And like
Yeah.
we were talking about getting a booking for a while before it actually
Nice.
happened. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people were looking at the league to be like, okay, I want to see it be worthy of me going there, like the higher end talent, right? But then when they see consistency over time and they see you improve, your audiences get bigger, your videos get a little bit more views. Oh shit, now they want to come and mess around in Ottawa, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you got, like I said, you got so much people coming here. And I mean, there's only so many leagues in Canada where you can actually go. And some people come here for their debut from other cities. So it's their
Yeah.
first time battling. We got a couple people who come here from the States to battle on a
Okay.
semi-regular basis. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we got a lot of battlers now in the league, you know? Coming
Yeah,
from
It's
all
definitely
over.
like a scene that is growing for sure.
Yeah.
Like I just recently watched that Bodied movie. I don't know if you've seen that. Like the
You know
just
what?
Eminem produced it.
yeah.
I'm watching it this holiday break.
Yeah.
I was looking at it on YouTube, like the YouTube where you gotta subscribe. I was like, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, I got a. Oh, I don't know if I should. I got a copy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a dope movie. And it just like sort of encapsulates that whole scene
Yeah.
very well. You know what I mean? It describes that sort of environment and like what the end goal is of you know the whole purpose of a rap battle in the first place. And it's
And-
definitely good to see that scene coming up in Ottawa. You know, it'd
Yeah.
be cool. Like even Malcolm was on here just last week,
That's
and
a
he
little
was
homie, man.
yeah.
Bro.
So he's broken into the rap battle scene
Yeah.
there a couple of times too, and like he's saying
Yeah.
too, just to get into it, like step his foot into it. He doesn't consider himself a
Yeah.
rap battler as
Right, 'cause
as,
he makes
you know,
music, right?
Exactly,
And he makes
that's
good
the
music,
difference
too.
between
Yeah,
between
Oh, yeah,
that.
for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And he
Um,
was number 2 on my Spotify this year. Like,
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's dope to hear, man. It's nice to see like that support for local talent. You know, like I definitely believe in him. You know, he came in. He's a very good battler. You know what I'm saying? From
Yeah.
his first battle, you know, like his a couple battles that he did. You see the progression too. So you see that he's growing. He understands the format.
thinking
He
about it,
understands
yeah.
how to get better at it. But he
Mhm.
started already like not at a typical entry level position. I want to make that clear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a few people who have started at a higher level. You know what I mean? And then you
Yeah.
see people who kind of climb over time. So I mean, like there's a good body of talent here that we're definitely like, you know, cheering for our local people. And there seems the beauty of it is that there's a continual new entries into it. So it's
Mhm.
not like we just got a static group of people that we have who are part of CRB.
Yeah.
You got locally, you got more and more people entering. So I think like, and
Trying
that's
it
like, as
out.
more we develop the platform, the more people gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
So it's like you build it, they will come. That like when we started it, you know, 4 years ago, when we
Mhm.
started having the conversations about starting it, one of the big like, you know, pain points that kept coming up with the three of us who started it, but even like when consulting with other people whose opinions we valued, the concern was like, oh, there's not a deep enough talent pool here. There's not enough people who battle here. There's not enough people who are good at it, and there's not even enough people who are interested in doing it.
Yeah.
Right? But now it's like interest is not the problem. Like we have in January 25th, we have the
You're
next
saying you have
event.
people come from fucking Windsor or what? Like
They didn't make it,
but they were going to. Like,
but yeah, we have people come from Montreal, Cornwall, Kingston, Toronto, New Jersey, and like Florida. Another homie came a couple times from Florida.
crazy.
And those are like people who are kind of climbing through the
right?
ranks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then there's a few other people who have come who we've like just requested them and paid them to come. Like,
yeah.
like they didn't approach us. We
Yeah.
approached them. You know what I mean? But yeah, like the talent pool that we have, that's just kind of like, part of the league, basically. It just keeps growing. You know what I mean? And, shouts to the other leagues in Canada. Like, we wouldn't have been able to do it even probably without the other leagues that were here in Ottawa before us.
Yeah.
But different formats, different eras, right? Like KOTD is still killing it.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
still Kings of Canada. King of the Dot is huge. You got Beast Mode in Toronto. Shouts to Beast Mode. Actually, I was wearing the Beast Toque in my car, but I switched to the CRB hat when I came
Yeah.
in. So shouts to Wheezy for the Beast Mode beanie.
Beast Mode,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Shouts to Smoked Out. Smoked Out, they're a dope league. And then DMS in Montreal. Smoked Out has like 4
DMS?
divisions. DMS.
That was my graffiti.
The main source.
Yeah.
They're a battle league in Montreal, and they do battles in both languages. And then you got a French only league in Montreal as well. Right?
Okay, yeah, no doubt.
But like, KOTD and Smoked Out have divisions in various cities, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So like Smoked Out is in like Smoked Out BC is in like Burnaby or whatever, Vancouver. And then Smoked Out Alberta operates, I believe, in Calgary. I don't think they're in Edmonton.
Okay.
And then like you got Smoked Out Ontario, which is Thunder Bay,
Thunder
Oh,
Bay.
yeah.
right?
Dope.
So it's like West, pretty much Smoked Out.
Yeah.
And then they do like shows every now and then in Winnipeg as well. And then Smoked Out Alberta might have done one in Red Deer once, I think, or a couple times.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yo, Brendo.
Saskatchewan.
So
Saskatchewan.
Hey, from
you see,
Saskatchewan.
but those leagues, like, all those leagues been around longer than us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, being considered like, amongst that ecosystem of battle leagues in Canada is pretty dope. People look to us
for
as
sure.
another place to go. But it's like there's a city like Ottawa. It's like what, the 4th or 5th largest city in Canada. So it should be an option. There should be a league here.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You
man.
know?
I look forward to the day when, like, you can see fucking Capital Rap battles up there, like, alongside the
Yeah,
names
absolutely.
of,
The top dogs.
KOTD.
Yeah, man.
It's just, I want to see that for...
I mean,
for,
the marketplace is really occupied already, but I'll say this, like, there is definitely an opportunity for it to grow bigger, even
Yeah.
just right here. Most of the other leagues
no, that's what I'm saying.
are
yeah.
like in various places now. Like KOTD, they're headquartered in Toronto, but they're all over the world, right? So, actually, I'm gonna pass that.
Yeah,
down.
no.
So like for KOTD, it's like, well, we ain't trying to compete with them on that level. But the fact is that we had various leagues here before, right? So we had the Last Man Standing League, which was like battling in the old format over beats like 8 Mile.
Yeah.
And then we had $1,000 no bullshit. Shout out to the homie D-Bar who was running that league. And that's like when Sharon first battled, was in that league.
Okay.
And then they switched the format, and then D-Bar, who ran that league, which was battling over beats too, started working with King of the Dot to bring the Capital Invasion series. And they had some great battles here in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And then they stopped coming for a while.
Okay.
And then that's when I was like, yo, Prehistoric, yo, E-Large, yo, how come we don't have a fucking battle league in Ottawa?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know. It was just this and this. Well, why don't we make one? Well, I don't know, man. No, we're going to make a battle league. Okay, let's make a battle league.
Yeah.
Here we
There's no
are.
battles here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was really like, it was just more like, here's something that the scene would benefit from just by having something to do, right? But also like a spot where we can help develop the local scene and be part of that ecosystem of hip hop and entertainment in Ottawa, and just be like local people doing it for local gains. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
100%.
And like, I guess there's people who aren't local who see that there's a gain in it for them too, and
For
we try
sure.
to reciprocate that. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But the reason we created it was really Ottawa based.
Local, yeah.
But if it can grow and still have that that connection to its meaning and its local, but still do things for other scenes or people from other spaces, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
us branching out there means that we build sort of relationships in other
Well, it's
places.
the
Yeah,
same
man.
thing. It's as we were talking earlier. It's the
Yeah.
fucking you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
But
Yeah,
now
they
we
see
can definitely
someone else doing
send
it.
battlers to like other cities anytime. You know
Yeah,
what I
well,
mean?
because then it goes beyond the we have a platform, you have the face or whatever. Like like you're a guest or whatever. It's now we're Ottawa, you're Windsor or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And now it's fucking we're doing it together, but now also your people are my people now. You know what I mean? Like. You know what I'm trying to say though?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like,
you build a network.
it's
you
like
build a class.
it's kind of how we were talking earlier, like that's the back and forth thing, right? So then it works out that now you're like, oh, network. I guess networking, with the different cities and shit too. So
Yeah,
that's big.
Developing an audience is always good.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
definitely who benefits the most from it. Aside from the fans, it's the talent. So if you
Yeah.
develop an audience and you develop a brand in each city, each market where it could be viable in Canada, you develop more opportunities for the performers to be known
Yeah,
and to be paid for what they
Yeah.
do. You know what I mean? So that's like right there. It's like, I mean, come on, like everybody else does it, Like there's even like the whole indie rock scene and like the punk scene where it's like they'll tour across Canada doing shows in smaller venues, touring in a van or whatever, and they'll do their thing, right? Because there's like a scene in every place where they go, and they might
yeah.
couch surf, and you know what I mean? But they get enough money to get across and get their brand out there and get known. So not necessarily a replication of that, but you look at elements of that model and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We can do something where there's like places to stop along the way and there's a variety of things you can do. You know what I mean? And then when we create that platform for local battle rap and we have an audience who's paying attention online to our social channels, right?
Mhm.
Then that's when it's like we can insert other stuff, So like if somebody who's a battler also is releasing an album, it's like, yo, you have a platform to share your music, you know what I mean? You can get more followers and more engagement here.
Yeah.
You can you can use this here to build your brand.
Yeah, man.
So
So that's kind of something like I heard again, like shout out to Dynamic. He was talking about because he's putting on the food drive.
Yep.
And he's doing like for the 5th annual, like it was this year.
Yeah.
He said he wants to be in 10 cities by 10 years.
Yep.
So, and he's doing a show at every single city, basically, right? So, like, not only is he raising all this, food for a great cause, but he's spreading his brand essentially to all these cities by doing a good thing, right? So you could do essentially the same thing with, Capital Rap Battles and put on some charity event, go to a bunch of different cities, put on a bunch of different rap battles. Try to find locals in different cities and spread that, Capital Rap
Do like
Battles
Tech Nine
brand.
did and bring in all the old bras. Come on, ladies, throw your bras.
But yeah, and that's to branch to a different city and get your brand, as what
Yeah.
you're saying, into a bigger, wider audience. If that's what you're, if
Well,
you're
we've
hoping
thought
to do
about
that,
it. I think right now for us, because all that travel can be exhausting. too,
no doubt, yeah,
and we
it's
don't
a commitment.
really have like the full resources as far as like people and time and money to like put our efforts there. But what we are trying to do is make sure that people in other markets are more aware of us and do more digital product delivery, right? So we're making more of our stuff available on pay-per-view or video on demand, or just more content, more quality content on our existing channels, on YouTube. And some of it gets gated, and that way we can monetize it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
It's
just
tough to monetize content these days, like unless you're getting into the millions of views. You know what I mean on a single thing,
right?
like,
Except for niche content, so battles are a little different. If you have a battle like Sharon versus Chrome, and there's people who are big fans of either or maybe both, they might be willing to pay a little bit, and it worked for us, And it's our first time really trying it. And I'm not saying like we made piles of money off the digital delivery, because we didn't, but we definitely grew an audience there, and we definitely did test the viability of another income stream. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So as a business, now we know that this is a model we have to invest our time and our
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it can definitely be helpful again for the local scene. Why? Because now like we bring in a name that's noteworthy from somewhere else to battle somebody local who's building a name, and then people from other cities subscribe, they pay to watch these battles.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like watching. These are people who really want to watch.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So then they're gonna like take note of like these other battlers, and now it's up to the battlers that we put on to make an impression.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
To be memorable.
How serious and how crafty.
So I mean, you know, that's part of the format we want to do, and you know, like traveling is probably not in our cards, except for to say is for sure because there's other leagues where we can go, right? Leagues in New York, leagues in Montreal, Toronto, and out west, right? We could go. We're more likely to go. You know, take one or two of our guys who are going to perform against somebody on that platform, and just go and show up and support our talent who's there,
right?
And make sure that we're representing well when we're out of town, so that we get noticed in that core demographic thing, right?
For sure.
So it's going to be that demographic that's going to come back to the product time and time again, and who's going to probably be the people who might be likely to pay for a subscription or pay to access content.
Sure.
And then once you put it on the free channels, that's where you're going to get like larger audiences. And then like there's stuff like like a lot of battles. You don't see a lot of like really good battle content on Facebook, right? You see like really short clips. You don't see like full battles from like serious battle leagues uploading battles.
That's very true.
But it's like we've done that a couple times. You definitely get a lot more views because the content is right there in the platform visible. You know what I'm saying? So we're probably gonna do a little bit more of that too to make sure that our brand is out there beyond our core demographic, to get it in more people's faces and to collect more feedback from people. So it's a thoughtful approach like that, because at the end of the day, we want our brand to we want content to be in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah.
But at some point, we got to say, oh wow, there is a value to this content. We invested a lot in making it. Like, can we get something back at it?
Yeah.
Again, so that's thinking about it like a business. Like, it's a battle league. A lot of the people in it are amateur.
Yeah, true.
Right? But there's some who are developing to professionals, and there's a few who are professionals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they've been getting paid for battling. So, like, if we can push the quality of the content, it'll have staying power. And I mean, we're here to stay.
Of course.
It's almost 4 years now, so it's not going anywhere.
No doubt. Here.
However, speaking of staying power too, you have a big hand in Cranium Festival?
Yeah, for sure. There's three of us who started. I'm one of three. So myself, Rookie, and Dynamic. You were just talking about Dynamic and the food drive. And Dynamic and I go way back. We've done a lot of projects in the past. We did the Hold It Down DVD. We've done songs together, a couple songs together. So Hold It Down DVD, the first one was just in Ottawa. We took a handy cam and we took like video clips of people performing, talking, kind of interviews, freestyles, acapellas, performing with beats, variety of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like chopped it up, edited it into like a video magazine format. Put it out locally. There was a great response. We're like, we got to do this again. We got to do it bigger. So we got like a prosumer quality camera. We went to Halifax, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa. We did go to Winnipeg, but the footage got lost. And we went to Vancouver. So we got all sorts of footage, including some big names like Classified and Red One and Belly and Socrates and Bless and Sans Pression. If you were ever into like the French, like SP was like a huge like really well respected artist in Montreal, you know? Like that dude, like the local hero, you know what I mean? Like he made really good music, but he was still like, part of the community, and and Bless from Montreal, right? Who was part of like like a Gangstar crew, right?
Like Gangster?
Yeah, like you gotta look up, like, if you ever like Google Bless and Gangstar.
What?
Like Bless and Guru. Like he's a kid from
I love Gangster
from Montreal, and he's done stuff with. He was kind of part of Gangstar crew for a while. Like he went down in New York and won a battle. Yeah,
like that Wu-Tang shit. How Wu-Tang's got like the 8 members or whatever the fuck. Got like 100 affiliates.
Shouts to Bless. He's the homie. Like
That's sick, though.
Over time we've definitely kicked it a few times.
I just gotta say he's obviously pretty good if he's fucking with.
He's very talented MC. He was kind of big for a while. But he didn't stay like really aggressively putting out music. He probably just decided to do other stuff. It wasn't that he wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? I'll tell you that.
Fuck yeah.
He's good at it for sure.
Yeah, it's a grind to do it consistently and forever, like to make it like a fucking career out of it.
No doubt.
Yeah. But no, I hope Cranium Fest keeps going, man. Fuck.
Yeah,
Cranium
for
will be
sure.
back,
It
man.
can
Like,
only be good.
yeah, man. So me and
That's right.
Dynamic go back, and we did a food drive. We did like a hip hop food drive or hip hop
Yeah.
like food something with the Ottawa Food Bank and all that way back in the day when we were doing like Hold It Down.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that was dope. And then Rookie and I go way back too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He was on here.
Anonymous
a
Assassins
little while
was his
ago.
crew, and we used to do shows together. You know, like I met all these guys through hip hop, bro. Like
Yeah.
Dynamic was coming up when I was already doing my thing, like, you know. So yeah, man, it was dope. Cranium first year was like you were mentioning, like it happened like Fast and Furious,
I
right?
forgot to wear my shirt.
It's like you hear about this thing happening, like boom, it's
Whoa,
happening.
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, it
definitely.
was like fucking. I don't know. I was saying the other day, it was like maybe like say maybe 2 months before it happened. What the fuck? Did you guys hear about this festival? Apparently, there's this festival. We're all just like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? Then we go to a show and everyone's like, yo, like you guys hear about Cranium? Yo, did you hear about? Everyone's asking us. We're asking everybody. It was just everyone was fucking talking about it. So we're like,
Yeah.
who is it?
So we did
We
what we
need to
needed to
find
do
these
then.
guys.
You know what I mean? Because like we started, you know, just really like putting it out there like shortly before it happened.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was a decision we had to make, right? Like going in, having some of the final pieces that made us say yes for sure we're doing this come in pretty late. So it was like a game time decision, right? So it's like, okay, let's do it. And then along the way, it's like, imagine it's a new festival that has never happened and we launch it, but we can't tell you anything about it or even any of the artists who are on it. So we had to get artist book, and I'm not gonna say who, but we were working on a certain headliner, and it never worked out. So we were kind of felt like we were being strung along by the end. We were like, yo, this person's never gonna give us a yes or a no. You know what I mean? We really wanted to kind of like open the first year of the festival with that headliner.
Yeah.
It didn't work, but we still came together with a really dope lineup.
Absolutely.
Like super happy that, you know, we locked in like City Fidelia, you know,
Yeah.
early in the game. But everybody who we put on, we're super happy with it. We wanted to definitely have more of our dope local artists because there's other artists, and I've been saying this, I've had to say it a lot of times actually, but I'm happy to say it. There's other artists who were deserving of being on who weren't on.
Yeah.
So somebody not being on doesn't mean we didn't want them on, and it doesn't mean they didn't deserve to be on. Like they weren't the quality that we like. A lot of people, we just had a certain amount of resources, right? Like
Yeah.
if it wasn't money, then it was still time.
right.
You know, like we only had a certain amount of stages for a certain amount of hours. So we were taking all these things into consideration. We want to put people on next year who haven't had the opportunity. That's the
sick, though,
priority
like-
rather than just repeating the same people.
Yeah.
So that's first of all. And the second thing is definitely like headliners that are going to pull more attention. We're going to have more time to market it, they're out, publicize it, but also just like headliners are going to turn heads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we want definitely a focus to be on our local talent. That's why we do what we do. Cranium is the Capital Regional Association for Nurturing the Industry of Urban Music.
Yeah.
This Capital Regional Association, this is what it starts with. So it's the capital region, it's the Ottawa area. You know what I mean? So we want to be a catalyst, you know, for nurturing the industry of urban music. So like I've been talking about developing channels, developing income streams, developing business. That's where my focus is now.
Yeah.
That's just where the path I've been on. And that's what I see that our scene needs to be, to develop into what it can be. I mean, there's always going to be levels. There's always going to be layers. There's always going to be amateur artists. Great. We have to have them. It's a great thing to do with your time anyway. I could speak from experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like never downplay the importance of that. But let's just also say that we need to develop pathways for people to become professionals.
Right.
Yeah.
The people who have the capacity to do that as far as their artistic ability, but then also the people who have the support on the business side, on all the other sides of it, to develop into professional artists. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where Cranium fits in. And we don't assume that we can do that just by throwing a festival. You know, we're stakeholders in the community and everything. All three of us, right, who started it, and then the people who have worked towards it are all involved in this scene in other capacities.
Yeah.
So it's not just saying, "Oh, Cranium's going to change the whole scene." It's just like the idea there is also to be a spark, right?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
illuminates
Yeah.
everything else. Like the spark catches here, here, and
Yeah,
here.
man.
And I think like we that, you know what I mean? So I feel
Absolutely.
very happy about what we did. I know, like, you know, I've definitely been open to feedback, you know, like constructive criticism, positive feedback. I've heard both, right? So knowing a lot of the criticisms I heard, I already made myself. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like we weren't afraid to start and be like, yo, you did something dope and there's places you need to build. You know what I mean? Let's just be brutally honest, because Everything isn't going to start where it's going. But I'll tell you right here, right now, Cranium, it's going to grow fast. It's going to grow big. I don't care. Like, maybe I don't have the approval of everyone who's part of it to say it that way, but that's my passion. And I'm going to tell you that I know that is our intention. You know what I mean? And I have no doubt about the capacity of the team that we have now and that it's still building, that it has the ability to do that. And that's what I'm trying to say as a testament to, like, our local hip-hop community. We need to have a big festival.
No doubt.
We need to have a big festival that is us. Like, it's great that we have Blues Fest. They put on local artists. They're an amazing festival. It's a world-class festival.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Blues Fest keeps putting on local hip-hop artists because it's a great thing for our local hip-hop scene.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And it's benefited a lot of local artists. It's also great that they bring big hip-hop artists from other scenes to headline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the crowd for the local openers wouldn't be as big if they didn't have Wu-Tang and Snoop Dogg.
Of course. That's what people are there to see, for sure.
Wu-Tang's been there twice, I think.
Yeah, and Snoop Dogg's like maybe 4 times or whatever.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg the first time.
They brought the Migos, they brought Schoolboy Q, like they've brought all sorts.
Q was crazy.
Yeah, you're at Q, eh?
I was at that one too.
Oh my god, I had to escape, man. I was right at the front, and we had to leave, and we went to the. Well, we didn't have to leave. We just had to get out of the crowd, and we went to the back, man, and the whole place was like this. You could just see everyone going like this,
it was madness.
Jumping up and down. Yeah, man.
They had Cypress Hill not too long ago. They've had all sorts of huge stars, right? So the idea is that Cranium, it doesn't have to compete. We're not trying to compete with something like Blues Fest. No. But that's a long festival too, right?
Yeah.
But imagine a festival, a large scale festival with big names, but also local artists that focuses on hip hop for like say 3 days. You know what I mean? And you put on like 3 really dope days. You know what I mean? And you have all those aspects that a festival has. But Cranium also brings as part of our core focus is like those town hall discussions, those roundtable discussions, and there's gonna be more of that. And that's really what Cranium will be doing at other touch points. Not just
I see that
festival.
vision. That's good. I like that.
You know what I mean? And that's where Cranium will be at throughout the year. But the focal point where we really make a splash is the festival. And it develops contacts and it develops visibility. So I really believe in the approach. I think that it will be a good tool for developing the industry of urban music in Ottawa. In that sense that it's going to be another thing of high visibility to lend more credibility to the scene. A lot of people don't see it that way. See it, why does Ottawa need another music festival? Well, yeah, hip hop could be one of the main aspects of some of those other festivals. Like even the Jazz Festival can bring the Roots, which can be one of their biggest shows that they put on that year at the Jazz Festival. I worked for the Jazz Festival for 2 years. I was part of that team. They're great. They're also great they put on local musicians too, right? So we can have all that kind of stuff happen, but that doesn't really change anything for the local scene.
For sure, yeah, that's
You know what I mean? Because it doesn't build connections. Like there was 1 or 2 people at the Blues Festival who were kind of connected to the local scene, so that's good. Because when you get to work on productions of that caliber, you learn to put on good quality productions. But then when you work in those places, you also interact, not only during the festival, but throughout the year with other people who can support the development, right? And you interact with people from other scenes and other places. You could build connections to get artists from here to those places as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or other media, you know what I mean? Or other festivals, right? Just other opportunities to branch out and build a network. So to me, it's like a no-brainer that, something like Cranium launching around a festival really makes sense, so you make that impact so that people notice. Now the brand already has traction and we just started.
For sure.
We just started.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we just launched that thing 2 months ago and the Instagram could be popping like if we were putting more content into it. But it has something that it stands for. There's something behind it. It's not just an empty brand. It's a brand that proved that it can deliver something. So now people take it seriously, at least like the stakeholders, right? The people who create music, or who have podcasts, or have blogs, or who have a series of shows they put on. All the artists, beat makers, radio DJs, club DJs, like people really heard about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And when they hear about Cranium, they hear about the mandate. And when they hear about the mandate, they can either get down or they can stay interested from afar. But nobody's hating on that mandate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People might be like, I hope they do well, but I'm not really going to jump in. That's still mad cool because they know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like having a great team, the co-founders, but also the people who gravitated around it and supported it, the sponsors, the volunteers, the artists who were part of it, the people who just supported it because they could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like shouts to people like the new BRL show. They just supported it. You know what I mean?
Man, absolutely.
But CHUO was a sponsor, right? And then
Mhm.
we had like commercials on air every day. You know what I mean? So it's not everybody in the city who's listening to CHUO.
Mm-hmm.
But when the morning shift is like shouting you out every morning.
Yeah, it's
and
the
when
people
there's-
that you want to be listening to.
For
like,
sure.
You want to be there.
Yeah.
Listening to that kind of stuff.
And
for
like
sure.
a lot of local people, a lot of who had avenues to supported it. So it was very dope that we had that. HipHopCanada.com supported it.
I
A
bet.
lot of people supported it.
Mm.
I'm missing a lot of people right now. Missing more than I
To
mentioned.
all
I
the
only mentioned a
people.
couple, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
TFA. Like I could start digging all the names up, but I'm not doing that now. I'm on vacation mode. But just to say, like, and that's what we need, man. And as much as I can hopefully support those people and what they're doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Straight
of
up
course.
support them in what they're doing, building whatever types of platforms to get people on, and then meeting with like-minded people and just saying, how can what you're doing benefit what I do, and how can I reciprocate
Vice
that to you?
versa,
How
yeah.
can I help you get successful?
Yeah.
Because we need all sorts of platforms, So it's like
Yeah, man.
artists can't exist without platforms in this day, as far as
Oh.
like not mass consumed artists.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
I
what's
hear
up.
that shit. That's fucking the truth right there.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say we've been going right now for just about 2 hours.
that's crazy.
Believe it or
Time to
not.
wrap it up.
Yeah.
So,
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Man,
Speaking of
thanks
rap, you
for
got any bars for us?
Yeah.
If
you want to be, you want to rap?
I'm a rap.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, dope.
sick.
I
Okay.
don't rap very often, man. I haven't rapped in a long time
Oh, sick.
for anybody other than like my son.
See, I usually always
Girl.
throw that out for the artists and shit.
Just in case. Yeah. No pressure. No pressure.
I haven't rapped in a real long time, man.
But like, yeah.
I'll hit the
got a
beat. I'll
few
pick
here.
something. I'm not gonna freestyle. I'm gonna pick something from the repertoire, the old ass repertoire. This is nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Just catch the vibe. Oh, which one is mine? This is
Number
the-
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's your boy Jugga. I'm just going through. Give me a minute. I'm a vibe. I'm gonna catch something though. I'm here.
Get it.
I'm gonna get something. I'm just trying to go through my memory and pick out something that works with this. Yeah. Yo, come and take a trip on the grind with your boy Jugs. More beef, sticky drugs. Such as better avoid us, cuz we in the hood where the crack house is packed out. Young cats are strapped out, windows painted blacked out, and you could black out. Hookers with their ass out. Working on my block, I seen a lady pull a cock out, yo. That don't make sense, so God must be coming soon. Brimstone and fire. She humming tunes and it's kinda bugged cause she passed a while back. Then I gave up living foul and I got my style back. They still call me Kriganacker, Jugga white and he black. So I'm a Kriganacker filmmaker banging these tracks like yo. Don't approach me if you're whining like an asshole. I'm a big fish, mind your business little tadpole. Cause still waters run cold when we north of the border. These people starving think they need a shawarma. So yeah, la habibi, hop off my dick. I hold it down, your boy Jugs, mama call me Patrick. All I got is that shit if you're looking for hand. Girls, I know you love it lyrically. I'm a standout. Worlds will start to rumble and repires will fall. Sucker rappers lose their teeth if they desire to brawl. And all I hear is more victims, more crack, more gunshots. It's pure madness, and will that ever stop? No. So that's the answer till atomic destruction. Tell an untold story till the time is my function. In a world with gunpowder bustions, a means of staying alive. I'm still chief, you can't kill a whole tribe. And yeah, I'm chasing ducats like my boy the DJ. Ducking down when they rock, cause genocide upon the replay. This real talk, guns and drugs is trife. Real talk, people they be living this life. Real talk, yeah, homie, come and talk to me. Better yet, slide through the hood, walk with me. Real talk, yeah, drugs is trife. Real talk, people, yeah, been living this life. This real, yeah, homie, come and talk with me. Better yet, slide through the hood, walk with me.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Oh man.
Woo.
Yeah, that was
That
dope.
was sick.
Thanks, man. You brought me out. I haven't. Honestly, that's the first verse I've dropped in a very long time. Like I'm talking years.
Still
man.
got it. Still got it.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah,
man.
that shit
Well,
old.
Yeah, man, I feel honored. Shit.
Yeah, damn right.
That was fun,
also,
man.
nice name drop. DJ Duckets.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
I caught
what's
that
up?
too.
Oh yeah, that's the homie, man.
Yeah.
Foundation right there.
Yeah.
All right,
Damn.
man. Well, thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Yo,
Yeah,
man.
no
Pleasure,
pleasure.
anytime.
Thanks for coming.
We'll have you back out again anytime.
Thanks for blessing us with some bars,
Yeah.
man. Shit,
Yeah, man.
seriously.
That's a
I'm
good
so
way for me to
excited.
start off my my holiday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm off for like a week and a half now. I ain't doing
Nice,
nothing, so I'm just gonna be
nice.
kicking it, dropping some rhymes, kicking it with the family. So thanks for having me here, man. Shouts
Yeah,
to shouts to Rookie, shouts to Dynamic, shouts to Prehistoric, man. Those are like all the people that I'm looking at the core of what I do.
Dope.
Shouts to everybody else, you know what I'm saying? But those man, they've been holding me down the past little while. We've been working on some real stuff in 2019, so
Dope.
wait to be back and to hit
Fuck
you guys
yeah,
up with
man.
what we doing next, man.
Yeah, man. We're
Yeah,
looking
man.
forward to
Fuck
it.
yeah. Okay,
That's what's
well,
up.
thanks for fucking having us.
What's up?
Thanks
Get
to
out of
Jugga for fucking coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What's
man.
up, man. Yeah, we appreciate it.
And we the 4G Audio Podcast.
You know it.
Hashtag
We
Basement
out.
Weirdos. We out, yeah.
Safe travels.
Peace.
Catch you in the next one.